I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot, wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this go up. You know it's all net when it go up. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand. Ay, we on overtime, you don't need to understand. Ay, you just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get dangerous. Cause it can get dangerous. Hey, please don't play no games with me. I promise I'm too much. Hey, I can never let up even if you had enough. Hey, this ain't for the faint of heart. We always playing rough. I had enough, it ain't luck. I needed a vision, I needed ambition, I needed a mission to beat a submission with no intermission. I see the collision, the crash in the distance, they coming off track, no. Now when they ask what's the motive, don't talk about the show. They all about to see what I mean in the moment. I gotta keep going, I'm shaking the dice and they're keeping it rolling, they already know. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand. Ay, we on overtime, you don't need to understand. Ay, you just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get dangerous. Cause it can get dangerous. Cause it can get dangerous.
All right. Salute, ATT. We back at it again. Clap it up. One more game, man. One more game. What's goody, my people? What's good, family? Yeah, we back at it again, back in the building, trying to catch up and stay up to speed what's going on in this boxing space. Things to talk about, fights coming up this weekend, more development on Moses Itauma potential future opponents. Ben Davidson does an interview, speaks on acknowledging the elephant in the room, right? The elephant in the room being the rounds that Moses Itauma's gotten in, and how do we solve this problem? How do we get him in a situation where we can see some multiple rounds and basically up the competition, but also entertain the fact that if this Alexander Usyk fight does come across the table, that this is something that they just can't afford to pass. I mean, they can afford to pass on it, but at the end of the day, we'll speak on it, right? Because Moses Itauma definitely, according to Ben Davidson, the way he sees it, is definitely the best heavyweight in the division to give Alexander Usyk the best fight in the game, right? Hope I didn't say that without a comment and mess it up. So Alexander Usyk clearly is the best heavyweight in the division, but Moses Itauma is the one who gives the guy has the best chance of beating Alexander Usyk. So interesting, right? Interesting. Also, the IBF does order a fight between Josh Kelly and Bakram Murtazaliev. So Bakram gets a fight finally, or he gets something to negotiate. You got to think that fight does go through. And we'll see, right? This is a different kind of fight for Bakram. This is a boxer and Josh Kelly. We'll see what Bakram is able to do with that as well. Also, we have a card popping off this weekend with Jack Rafferty and Mark Chamberlain. I think it's a fight that's being slept on, a real competitive fight, two undefeated fighters. Oh, well, Mark Chamberlain's not undefeated. He did take a loss against Josh Padley, but was an undefeated fighter going into that fight and really was one of Turki Al-Ashik's favorite fighters. Mark Chamberlain, a super sound boxer, puncher, long arms. I believe that he's going to be trying his way up at 140 pounds on this one. So he's leaving the 135-pound division. At one time or another, I wanted to see Mark Chamberlain in the conversations of fighting a Shakur or fighting a Keyshawn Davis or even fighting a Dennis Berinchyk at the time when Dennis Berinchyk was the WBO champion. Just a fighter who I thought had a lot of promise. Obviously, Turkey felt the same way, but, fell short against Josh Padley. Looks like he's going to up go up in weight and challenge Jack Rafferty, an up-and-coming UK fighter, puncher. Real interesting to see how that fight goes, right? We'll talk about that as well. MVP has a card going down, I believe two nights this weekend. He's running some sort of we got to look it up, but he's running some sort of half on YouTube, half on the Zone card. But we got some great fights popping up on the card, more importantly, right? We'll talk about some of those fights as well. And you know how we do. We're opening up the panel, allow the build to happen right here in the space which I believe is one of the best panels, if not. I think we do got like the best panel in the game. I'm not going to lie. As far as panels are concerned, probably have one of the most scholarship value-wise, just real good contribution, usual suspect panelists, always contributing something real good to the space. So we'll definitely jump into that as well. As you step into the room, I'll remind you, even though I shouldn't have to remind you at this point, make sure we hit the like button when we get in here. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, take an opportunity to go ahead and do that. Shout out to the people who are here early in the morning with me. We did start off a little later than usual. Last night went on with my guy, Angelo Reyes, becoming a favorite here on the channel. So much knowledge and perspective and so much energy from him, right? Such a positive force of energy in Angelo Reyes. But we were talking a little bit about this whole entire transition into leaving the pay-per-view model, giving fights for free, and how this helps the sport. I thought it was a real good conversation. We brought up the panelists. Ray Davis came up on the panel. Shelton Moore came up on the panel. Shout out to my brother, Mazuma TV, came up on the panel as well, and just really contributed to the conversation, because boxing now seeming to be heading into a new era, right? There's no denying it at this point. A conversation a year and a half to 2 years ago, speculation at best, 2 years ago, but now more of an inconvenient truth for some fans, but a convenient truth for a lot of other fans. And I think boxing fans, real boxing fans, would have to be, I don't know why you wouldn't be excited about having access to more fights, spending less money out of your pocket, ultimately putting on more fighters who now have an opportunity to perform in front of the biggest stages, because although these fights are going to be free, the production won't be skimped out on. Bringing in Dana White, bringing in Nick Khan, that WWE production crew, all this helps the sport in such a great way, and expecting to see a lot more casuals, a lot more eyes on the sport, video games, so many different things that Turkey Al-Sheikh has planned. And you're seeing how Jake Paul's even approaching it this weekend, MVP Promotions approaching it, opening up the platform himself, putting on multiple fights 2 nights in a row, prelims on YouTube, main events on the Zone. Top Rank right now entertaining supposedly a cable network channel that they're supposed to be announcing a deal with them soon. So many things changing in the sport, right? And all of this being ushered on the back of Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez having their event. Obviously, we also got to talk about the revealing of the undercard, the prelims. A lot of people aren't too excited about it. Listen, man, one thing I'm going to give Turkey respect for is his matchmakers. And even though, and what's really happening, let's be honest, most fans don't know a lot of these fighters who are on this undercard, and we rate fighters based on how much we've seen in them. So instead of being a little bit more honest to say, I don't know who these fighters are, and looking into them, you're saying the undercard is butt. I don't think it is so much, but is it star-studded and fights that you guys asked for? Probably not, right? But this is also part of the process. This is also part of the process of introducing these boxers to the space. This is about growing up the roster. This is about making matchups, building relationship, right? Rapport with the boxing fans for these fighters. You got a heavyweight fight on that card. You've got up and coming prospects on that card. You've got a debut. And we also have the regular card that's up underneath the undercard, actual, right? Not the prelims, but the actual undercard. That's going to be a good undercard, as far I'm concerned. Lester Martinez and Christian and Billy, Fernando Vargas Jr., right? Versus Kalen Walsh. Decent fights on that card. Not for everybody, though. But at the end of the day, a step in the right direction, if you ask me. Let me go ahead and do a little roll call. Salute to everybody who's popping. He said, nah, it's but. It is what it is, you know. It's the main event is the big attraction of that fight, right? Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford holds enough weight. And then you got a card popping up in November that's going to be star-studded. Every card can hit. You're not paying for it, clearly, right? You're not paying for it. So look, it is what it is. If you want to find something to complain about, you can, you will, if that's what you plan on doing. But look, at the end of the day, boxing is we're ushering into a new era of boxing, just way more boxing. It's going to be hard to be a fanboy of one particular fighter. You can do it, but I think it should be easier for a boxing fan to be exposed to the sport in a way that you guys haven't been exposed to the sport in the past couple of years, right? Because of the lack of matchmaking, competitive fights, whole new conversation happening. Shout out to AK Crowder in the building, steps in the building with blessings, brother Claymore. Always receive those blessings. It's like a super chat, you know what I mean? Just I always receive that. Shout out to AK Crowder. I appreciate you, man. SOB TV in the building says, salute Clay, salute back at you, family. Dez 215 with the salutes in the building. Ceylon Bobo. I hope I'm saying that correct. Salute Clay, salute back at you, man. Colorado Spock in the building says, Clay Moran sent you a DM to the DM 77. Let me know, bro, if you're interested. Oh, let me check it out. I gotta check it out, man. I hope I am interested. I hope it's something that interests me. I hope it's something that gets my interest. Let's check it out real quick here. Yes, leave. Boom. Bow. Request. Okay. Wait a second. Yeah, accept. Yes. Primary. Hold on. To the DM. Am I tripping? Hold on. Not now. You'll see more needy. Wait. You sent it to my email? Is that what you did? Is it the email? It must be the email. Hold on. Oh, okay. Oh, hell yeah, bro. Oh, I'll reach back out to you, man. I appreciate you, brother. I just read it, man. Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah, I appreciate you, Colorado Spock. 100%, man. I appreciate you, man. And yes, in advance. I'll tell you yes in advance, but I'll reach back out to you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you, brother. Let's see here. Colorado Spock says Jack is a 2-1 favorite. Not sure if that's an accurate assessment. I don't think it's an accurate assessment at all. I think Mark Chamberlain, but that's what this fight is for Mark Chamberlain, right? This is a redemption fight. Mark Chamberlain was a fighter who came in with a lot of promise. And you know, that fight he fought with Josh Padley kind of set him back, made a couple mistakes in that fight and ended up falling short in that fight, put Josh Padley on the map, but somehow Mark Chamberlain kind of got sent to into a dark space. But I think this fight is going to be a great fight. And I'll be honest with you, I'm favoring Mark Chamberlain to take the victory in that fight. But no sleeping on Rafferty. Rafferty it seems to be an up and coming great fighter. You know, a lot of punching power, exciting, fan favorite fighter. They celebrate him, sing his name. You know how the UK boxing space goes with their fighters. That fight, I think, is an understated fight, man. That's a real great fight, man. Salute to you, Sonny Augustine in the building says salute Claymore. Back at you, man. Back at you, man. Colorado said, I personally enjoy the energy from Reyes. Yeah, man. Angelo's my guy, bro. We've been talking a lot lately, man. He has a crazy story, but also has such a perspective on boxing, so passionate. So I enjoy letting him just go ahead and just cook and rant sometimes on the channel and just speak so much about boxing. He's just, you know, he's a breath of fresh air, man. My type of boxing fan, you know, somebody who really enjoys not only the sport, but also the direction the sport is heading in and looking forward to see the sport get bigger. And I think that's what we as fans, me as a fan and we as fans, right? But I'll speak for myself first and foremost. That's what I want to see is the sport put back at the top of all sports in the world. I want to see it become as big as it can become, international platforms. I love the idea of not paying for pay-per-views. I love the idea of having an investor like Turkey Al-Sheikh willing to help finance and facilitate the biggest fights possible. I also accept the fact that it's a growing process, and there's growing pains, and certain things are going to have to get better. I think the announcement for this Terrence Crawford Canelo Alvarez card was a good announcement, but I think the undercard may have been, they may have approached it. They may change the way they approach building these undercards, timing, fight announcements, fighter availability, all these different things that they're learning as they go. But I love the fact that there's a certain trajectory it's going in, right? And that's what we should be here for, right? To help the sport get bigger, helps even as a content creator. If you're a content creator in the space, gives you more content to speak about. Constantly speaking about the same fighters every single day in, day out, constantly pushing the narratives and constantly attack. I mean, I think there's clearly there's a demographic and a fan base for that kind of content. But I'm hoping that boxing, also has a fan base that really just wants to keep up and be caught up to speed with what's going on in the sport, and the structure in the sport hopefully starts to get better. Mandatory starts to get honored. Championships get unified, belts get unified, and all those great things that boxing fans should be looking forward to seeing, right? It is what it is. Shout out to Sonny Augustine saying certain boxing fans still stuck in the old ways of boxing business, only worry about pay-per-view numbers and fanboyism. And yeah, Sonny, these things are getting ready to change in a big way. These things are changing. These things are changing, and there's a whole new fan base, casual fan base that's being introduced to the sport, and they're being introduced to the way the sport where it's going. So the older fan base that's still stuck on that pay-per-view model, and they still celebrate fighters' purses as if it's their purses, fighters' pay-per-view sales and popularity, celebrating that instead of celebrating competitive fights and being able to see history being made and celebrating legacy. Those fighters will either get in where they fit in, they'll hang out and enjoy the sport for what it is, or they'll find something else to talk about or complain about, or that this is not sustainable. Tearing down, attacking and tearing down a sport the way they're doing. It's just not sustainable. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Shout out to my Aki, Fly Frequency in the building. Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum salam back at you, Aki. Good to see you in good spirits and good health. Real Famous in the building said, nah, it's but. Yeah, listen. Mark Chamberlain is a perfect example that I would give to you guys. A fighter who I knew nothing about. Watching him fight twice on a Riyadh season card made me, in watching these fights, made me a fan of him, right? When he took that loss against Josh Padley, I knew it was going to be a setback for him. A lot of people weren't looking at Mark Chamberlain. How do we get these new fighters on platforms and match make with them and put them against your favorite fighters? Like when I seen Mark Chamberlain, in my mind, I said, what would be an interesting fight? Mark Chamberlain versus Shakur Stevenson. Man, what would be interesting if Keyshawn, when you think about your favorite fighters not being able to get the most competitive fights and not being able to be active as they want to be, or being fights that help them develop as fighters. Mark Chamberlain's one of those fighters who could be a champion 100%, but at the worst case scenario, a great dancing partner, right? All your favorite fighters need great dancing partners. This is what, first of all, helps them develop into being the fighters that they can be, reaching their potential, but also gives you, the fan, more importantly, the guy watching the fight, gives you the competitive fight, which is the best entertainment. This is what you'll learn to enjoy. I don't think you guys have seen it enough to miss it or want it as bad as somebody like myself and my age group who saw a lot of great fights and wanted to continue to see that. You want to see the sport get more consistent in that area. And I know some people will push back and say, well, back in the day, you can't just always get great fights. Your fighter can't always fight the best. He has to develop, he has to build his brand, tune-ups, stay busy fights. All these are part of the game. But I think we suffer sometimes by the lack of development from fighters who can do that. And what can happen over a long period of time is that consistently you will get the greatest fights. You're right, we can't depend on Gervonta Tank Davis to fight the best fight every single time. But If we combine that with Shakur fighting the best he can fight, Javante fighting the best he can fight, Keyshawn fighting the best he can fight, Jai Opetaia fighting the best he can fight, Alexander Usyk fighting the best he can fight, and you start to put them together, what happens is you get a consistency of great fights as a boxing fan. So being a fanboy of one fighter, we can't ask that one fighter to consistently give us the best fights in the world always, but boxing can deliver if fighters are being developed, right? If the matchmaking is correct, we can see consistent competitive boxing from the sport, right? It is what it is. Shout out to Mo Taylor in the building. Says Clay, blessings back at you, man, for sure. Let me see. Bulbous Sack in the building says, if the Canelo undercard is the Canelo card undercard any good? It is a good undercard, and I think when we watch it, that's what it's going to deliver. I think we're going to have a lot of. I believe there'll be fights that come off that card that you're going to be like, damn, you know what fight was good on that card? I'm saying on the quality of the matchmaking, the quality of the fight. Star power carries weight into the casual fan base. A lot of these fighters, you're unaware of who they are. Let's be honest. You're unaware of who they are, but there's no butt fighter on those undercards. There really isn't. And if you're saying that, you're not really properly educated on the fighters. You really don't. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I don't want to tear down your you know what I mean? Your whole entire thing that you got going on, but none of those fighters on that undercard are butt. Are they the superstars? Are they the big fights? Were you asking for those fights, right? That's what the American boxing fan will say consistently. We didn't ask for those fights. Well, how could you ask for a fight from somebody you don't know who they are, right? But listen, in time, as you watch these fighters fight, as you start to have so many fights to pick from that you can stylistically start making matchups and you start putting these fighters against your favorite fighters, the fighters that you do know, I think you'll find that this strategy of promoting boxing is going to open up more doors than it closes for you as a boxing fan, right? It is what it is. It is what it is. Sonny Augustine, let me see here. Antonio MMA, salute to you, family. Good to see you in the building. Virgil Wimberly said, what's good, Claymore? What's good? Back at you, Virgil. Hope everything's good with you, family. Good to see you in the building, man. Glad to see you, man. Pugilism in the building says Canelo on the card is a solid pro box level action pack potential. 100%. I love that comparison. Because pro box is another one of those platforms that have opened up opportunities for fighters who aren't the A side to these negotiations, who don't have the backing of the big promotional company behind them, but still the fighters themselves are quality fighters. And matchmaking makes the biggest difference in the world. Matchmaking, man, get familiar with it because it makes the biggest difference in the world. Matchmaking is what gives Zuffa Boxing with Dana White the potential it gives it, right? And I say potential because they haven't delivered yet, but the potential behind it is the fact that if you're looking for quality fights, matchmakings make quality fights, not star power. Star power makes the magnitude of the fight huge, right? Makes the viewership huge. It makes the pay-per-view go crazy. It makes that go. But matchmaking is what makes and entertains the boxing fan who's looking for a competitive fight, right? And I think that's the potential that you're going to see with the Zuffa Boxing. That's what they bring to the table, is that they're going to attempt to, right? They're going to throw their hat in the race of, we want to give you consistent competitive fights, 50-50 fights, 60-40 fights where you don't go in just knowing who's going to win. You might have expectations, but let's give your boxing brain an opportunity to process with a cerebral approach. So, man, who really can win this fight? Vegas is going to go crazy. The money's going to be better because now the betting odds will be closer. You'll see more money getting infused into the sport. The sport will get just as big as it is overseas. When you go to England, it's number 2 or number 3 of the biggest sports talked about in England, right behind, soccer and, I don't know what else, maybe rugby or something. I don't know. I don't know all the sports that's popping off in the UK, but why is it 96,000 people inside of a building watching boxing in the UK? 60,000 people watching Conor Benn and Chris Eubank go at it for no belt in the UK. Why are stadiums being packed out in Japan? Why? Right? Why is the same thing happening in Australia? Right? And why, more importantly, is that not happening over here? More importantly, why is that not happening over here? Our heavyweight division, so I love it. I see where it's going, and I'm all for it, man. Right? I don't own boxing. I have no hold on boxing. I have no money. You know, boxing doesn't pay my bills, so I don't care about the control as much as a lot of other people care. I care whoever controlling it is focused on giving me, the customer, the fan, the product that I'm looking to see. That's what I care about. Shout out to Real Famous 600 says it is Canelo versus Crawford on a turkey card. This undercard is the worst yet on the biggest fight card he has put on. This is why it's but. I mean, I hear you. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of money being spent on this card. Clearly, Canelo Alvarez garners a lion's share of over $100 million. I'm understanding that he looks to make on this. Terrence Crawford, you know, not too far away, but somewhere in that vicinity, in between $50+ million for this fight. There's a lot of money to be spending clearly on the main event. A lot of money being spent as far as production is concerned. This is a big rollout, and it's also an opportunity for these guys to put on the stage fighters who don't have the following, right? Who don't have the buzz around them. Let's use Canelo and Terrence Crawford's star power, the magnitude of this fight, to open up the stage, to potentially put on some new fighters that can get an opportunity to perform on that stage. Same thing with like even this card going on in November 22nd, which is a star-studded card, in my opinion. I think there's so many fights on that card, but you're going to see stars get born, right? Abdullah Mason finally gets his breakout opportunity to be on a big platform like that and fight for a title. That's the way it should happen, right? Because it could happen on some little local event that Top Rank would put in some little hotel ballroom, right, where he'll fight there and, you know, be a champion and be one of these guys who's in the conversations of high risk, low reward. Even though he brings a belt, you know, where's the money at? But no, he puts him on a big stage and gives him an opportunity to become a star. And he'll be a vehicle for other fighters to step up and become stars too as well. When he starts to get that star power and he's headlining these cards, they'll use those cards to bolster other boxers, up and coming boxers. That's what it is, man. And listen, Turkey's built up enough of a reputation, I think, at this point, as far as delivering on these type of cards, to where if people want to just use this to discredit what that man's been doing, then you've probably been waiting in the dark, in the bushes for a long time, right? Waiting for this opportunity. Now you got one, so jump on it, use it, do what you do with it, right? Shout out to Benny Bronca in the building, formerly known as, I won't say what his name was formerly known as, but so I'm gonna call you Benny. I'm gonna call you formerly known as. Benny Bronca in the building says Ali, Tyson, Mayweather, Sugar Ray Leonard were all brands of the sport. I love it. I love it, Benny. I love it, Benny. Salute to you, man. Let's see here. Pugilism says boxing fans better study their film and make some bets on these undercards to the lesser known. Nothing beats the thrill of boxing. Talk about it. Talk about it, man. Talk about it. Bruce Gas Boxing in the building. Scholar among scholars. Bruce Gas Boxing says, salute, Clay. The birth of boxing is in the UK. They got tradition going for them, 100%. And I think that tradition is going to spread in the space, right? The tradition is going to spread. It's time for the tradition to spread, because the result is 96,000 people in the building, right? Watching boxing. Well, over here, a successful event is what? 9,000, 10,000, 15,000, right? You put 15 to 20,000 people in the building, you're considered a star. Oh, man, everybody loves this guy. That's not necessarily the same thing over there in the UK, right? Not necessarily the same thing. Let me see. All pro box fighters pulled off their underdog and excitement potential. Angela Leo, pro box fighter. Lamont Roach, pro box fighter. Erickson Lubin fought on pro box. And the Cardenas Inoue knockdown. Respect all fighters. 100%, man. Talk about it, man. Talk about it here. Let me go ahead. Manhunt says, salute, Clay. Salute back at you. And I think we're good to go, man. But yeah, let me see here. I'm still confused on why certain fake boxing fans knocking this fight. It's a great fight. Why all the hate? Yeah, I know who that is, Uncle Phil. I think that's an interesting topic at times, and sometimes I try not to get too deep into that. But I do ask the same questions you just asked right there. I don't understand. Good morning, Tay Bugs. What's good with you, family? I'm doing great, man. Doing great. By the way, got to the gym this morning. It was a leg day. We went crazy on the legs. Legs is sore. Feels great to sit down in this extra comfy, large office chair. We working it out, bro. We flipping the game. We flipping the game. The guns is getting big. The waist is getting small. The abs are getting flat. Yeah, we taking it back a couple of years. Just a couple of years. Not too many, right? I'm glad I made it this far, so I'm not embarrassed of how old I am. But take it back a couple of years. You know what I mean? Not a bad thing. But I think that it is interesting. I don't understand. I ask the question to myself all the time. Sometimes I bother my wife and I ask her why. Why do people think the way they think? Why, as a community? And whenever I have this conversation, it always comes down to my community, because this is where I see it the most at. Right? Is the self-sabotage, the self-hatred, tearing down something that not only would benefit you as a fan, but as these so-called pro-black channels and things of that nature would support your fighter, right? I mean, can we deny that Abdullah Mason is getting a huge opportunity? Keyshawn Davis had a huge opportunity. That Shushu, I mean, all the fighters that I can go down the list and mention to you guys, black fighters that are benefiting in the black American boxing space, that's benefiting from it. Even with the David Benavidez, right? Even with, Devin Haney, you don't got to love him, but he's opening the doors. Right? These guys are opening the doors. Terrence Crawford clearly opening the doors and allowing opportunities for your favorite fighter to get on a big stage that would have to wait on the sideline, quiet and humble, and watch the way he asked 1 or 2 stars and wait to get an opportunity, stay inactive. I mean, you look at Lamont Roach right now and ask yourself, why doesn't he just have a bunch of options to go to? He got hard decisions to make because he wants to capitalize. He's a prize fighter. There are fighters out there, you know what I mean? But is there enough fighters out there? No, we can use more fighters, more star power. We can use more exposure. The sport can use this infusion of enthusiasm from people with money. Why hate on that? I don't know. You know what I mean? But I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to also realize that these people really just don't matter anymore in the sport. You know what I mean? They're doing great on their YouTube channels, and they're finding a way to capitalize off of it. But are they hurting the sport anymore at this point? Not really. So it's more like a bunch of it's like a bunch of KKK members. Was that extreme? Give me a second to bring it full circle. I ain't stressing like I might have been stressing maybe 50 plus years ago. I'm not stressing as much. Now you're just looking like a bunch of haters who are upset. But the reality is, I'm fully able to defend myself, and I think they know that the community is fully fit. So how nervous are they? I'm not going to move into your neighborhood, but I'm not worried about you coming to my side of the town and burning no cross in front of my house. The reality is, that's kind of like done with, right? So you're there. I can be confused as to what's driving you to continue to think the way you think, but you're not affecting anything on my bottom line. So, right? And that's how you kind of look at the boxing spaces now that are just ranting and upset about evolution, about progress. You just kind of look at them from the outside, looking in, and just kind of like wonder, but don't wonder too long. You know what I mean? A lot of boxing's going on while we're wondering, right? It is what it is. Real Famous says, LOL, a little extreme. Yeah, a little, but I mean, I hope it resonated a little bit, right? I hope it resonated just a little bit, just to kind of understand that there's going to be haters out there. But the reality is, if the haters really can't affect your bottom line like that, if they're not really in your mix that way, then we can let them hate, right? It's a free country. We can let them hate and not trip. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Chavez Jr. deported. Yeah, Raphael, I noticed that. He's supposedly been transferred to a Mexican prison in Sonora. Mexico money moves the needle a lot out there, so I ain't too worried about him. If he is in Mexican prison, who told you to do what you did, bro? It is what it is, man. Yeah, exactly, Bulbasac. That's all I'm saying, right? There's a lot more danger out there and a lot more things to worry about than a KKK, a group of 5 to 10 crazy pale skinned folk that think I come from monkeys, right? Like, it's crazy, insulting, but how much energy you want me to really give to somebody who I probably can knock down? Yeah, anyway, right? We're well equipped as a community. I'm well equipped as a man. I'm not tripping about no damn KKK. It is what it is. It is what it is. Let's tap in a little bit, man. Undercard gets revealed. People are not happy about it. Listen, man, it's growing pains. I think there's legitimate criticism for the way this rolled out. Maybe there could have been some better selections of fights. I don't know. Availability plays the game, man. When you're trying to be active as Ring Magazine, as Riyadh is trying to be, listen, man, timing. Timing is everything. November 22nd, you have a star-studded card coming out. We've got fights being announced. Josh Kelly and Bakram. You've got Jaron Ennis's card coming out. You've got Keith Thurman and Sebastian Fundora's card coming out. You got a lot of boxing going on, and this is what it's all about, building new stars. And I think that's what we're watching happening, and I'm happy. 3 days of boxing, supposedly Thursday, Friday, and then running into Saturday with the prelims going into the undercard and then to the main event. A lot of boxing to watch that weekend, right? A lot of boxing to watch that weekend, and that's what I'm more happy about, right? I'm hoping a couple of those fighters are able to deliver the performances they need to deliver in order to become must-watch boxing, right? It is what it is. It is what it is. Isn't Mbili fighting Lester Martinez to 100% on that undercard? That undercard is going to be on point. Vargas is going to be on that undercard. I could pull it up, right? That's probably what I should do, right? But 100%, man. 100%. 100%. 100% pugilism. That's a fact. That card is going to jump, man. That card is going to jump. It's going to jump. If you watch it, it's going to jump. Even if you go in with a negative attitude, I think you'll find that there's entertaining fights on it. I believe that the matchmaking is pointed towards that more. And keep in mind that these fighters are going to be hungry. This is an opportunity they can't pass up on. They're going to fight their hearts out, bro. They're going to fight their hearts out. You know what I mean? 100% 3-day weekend undercard. You can't be mad at that, man. You can't be mad at that. You know? Can't be mad at that. Hold on a second here. What did I just do? Boom. Okay, boom. Boom. I'm also going to drop the link early today so we can just build. Today's one of those days. Not a lot of boxing we're going into. I do want to dive into this Moses Itauma, Ben Davidson interview, as far as Ben Davidson and Ariel Helwani communicating the elephant in the room. What is it? Shout out to Just Do. I think I just saw him. Peace, my guy, Clay. Peace back at you, Just Do. Good to see you in the building. You know, Ben Davidson addressing the elephant in the room, which is a good thing. I give Ben Davidson so much credit. A guy who really, a young trainer like him, having his up and downs in his game, but I think he's found that fighter. I think Moses Itauma is that fighter who's not only very promising as far as his future is concerned, but also has an aptitude and ability to soak up the information Ben Davidson is putting out there in the best way. And I think Moses Itauma is going to benefit from that. And I think boxing, the heavyweight division, is in trouble. I think this kid is really the goods, but he does need the right dance partner in order for all of this to make more sense. Watching him knock guys out inside of a round or two doesn't really help any argument, except for the fact that he's must-see boxing at a certain point. But Mike Tyson did the same thing. He was knocking everybody out as well, right? And ultimately, the big test is what it counts. And at this point, who can give him the big test in the heavyweight division? Who can really deliver that type of fight with the Moses Itauma? It has to be a top 10, maybe even a top 5 fighter. Ben Davidson communicates that they're eyeing one particular fighter, maybe 2 fighters, each one of them inside of that top 10 conversation. I think the 2 obvious fighters, in my opinion, that can challenge him on that level would have to be dangerous fighters who can punch, fighters who can box, a little bit of both, defensively somewhat responsible to be able to last multiple 3 to 5 rounds, 5+ rounds. I'm looking at potentially a Martin Bacoli or Najee Kabayel as potential candidates. Rumors were spinning through the space that it could have been Jermaine Franklin. You guys know what was announced on that undercard, that Jermaine Franklin's actually going to be on that undercard fighting a 6'9" Eastern European nightmare of a fighter. Good luck to Jermaine Franklin on that card, but clearly won't be available to fight Moses Itauma in 2025. Who are they going to find? Ben Davidson seems very confident that it's going to be a top 10 fighter, which is important because that's what Moses Itauma needs. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. Let me see here. Colorado Sparks said Ben Davidson was given a train wreck in Tyson Fury and an AJ that was shot worn and lacking confidence. 100%. 100%, man. He was a young fight. He's a young trainer, man. A young trainer like that who's growing in this sport, but I think he's doing a great job. People don't know about how much he's involved in the Devin Haney camp as far as breaking down videos and strategizing and doing that. He's really a mind in the sport. Colorado says, I guess at the chat, Ajit versus Moses, who wins. I mean, it's hard for me to go against Moses, but I think that's a fight right there. In my opinion, I believe Ajit Kabayel is probably the most difficult fight for Moses Itauma. I think when you're talking about somebody who's, first of all, very fundamentally sound, but also anybody who's making the body attack their, the protein on the plate for them when they're serving their dishes, you got to pay attention to that. A fighter like Moses Itauma doesn't want, that's probably his weakness. Somebody who's athletic, who can move, who's fast as Moses is, the ability to attack that body and be effective in it is going to make a big difference. I happen to believe that that's going to be one of the things that Terrence Crawford brings to the table. I believe Terrence Crawford is going to bring, I think you're going to see him commit to the body a lot more than other opponents of Canelo Alvarez have ever done. And we'll see how effective that'll be. But I think the body attack is an underrated approach to boxing. And if you watch this year in particular, a lot of body work this year, the Shakur Stevensons of the world, the Susumis of the world. You watched Moses Itauma apply to Dillian White. I can go down a long list of fighters, Ajit Kabayel obviously against Zhele Zhang, who really have implemented that body campaign, and it's shown how serious it can be if you don't have an answer for that. Shout out to my guy Shelton Moore in the building. What's good, Shelton? How you doing, family?
What's up, young brother? How you living today?
I'm living great, man. I feel great, man. I went to the gym this morning again. I've been on my shit like past 2-3 weeks. I've been pretty consistent, man. I'm proud of myself, man. Trying to stay committed.
As I am of you, brother. I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm about 40 pounds overweight. I want to get down to 205. Okay.
I'm somewhere in that vicinity too. I was actually way up. I don't even want to go on my numbers, but I lost 40. Right. Okay. And I'm working on losing another 35, 40. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get on point. And I'm gonna build it back up.
I'm gonna give you one piece of advice. I'm pretty sure you know this. You gotta change the diet, bro.
That's happening 100%. That has happened. The diet has changed extremely. Yeah.
It gotta change. If it don't change, we gonna be in trouble. But anyway,
and these wheels in this mud, right? Go nowhere. Spinning for nothing.
Yes, sir. So the IBF ordered Murtazaliev and Kelly, huh?
Listen, man, I saw that writing on the wall, right? I saw that on the wall. Once I saw Erickson Lubin get out the way and decide to go the Virgil Ortiz route, and next up online is Josh Kelly. Look, I think that fight's gonna be a decent fight.
It's for as long as it lasts. I mean, Murtazaliev will get out of there. But I figured I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I was asking them because they were telling me that Lubin decided to fight on the 18th with Ortiz, and I said, "Is that Riyadh season, or is PBC doing it, or is Golden Boy doing it?" They said Riyadh season. I said, "Oh, that explains it. That's why he took the fight, because if it's Riyadh season,
it's a payday and it's a big
bag
stage.
is bigger. Yeah, the bag is bigger. Turkey knew what he was doing. He pulled him out of there. He wanted that fight for Ortiz, because Turkey has plans for Ortiz and he got plans for Ennis. I truly believe that.
Right.
So he's trying to make that. But,
did you notice the timing though? That did you notice inside of that 3-week time frame that they're all fighting? Duran is fighting on the 11th against Lima, on the 18th, Lubin and Ortiz, and then on the 20, what is it, the 5th, 25th, 20, what is it? What date is it? The
25th.
The 25th. Sebastian Fundora and Keith Thurman are fighting. So it's like females getting on their cycles, right? Like schedule wise, everything is coming together to where these guys' availability is going to be coincide with each other. I think 2026 is going to be a big year for the 154-pound weight class division.
It is. Everybody's getting their fights in. Then you got Adams and Boychuk.
But I think that fight's at 160. I got to do my research, but I feel like that fight is at 160.
It might be because Brandon Adams is getting up there. He's about 35, 36 now.
Right.
Yeah, so Brandon Adams is getting up there.
Boychuk might be heading into the 160-pound division. He might be leaving 154.
Yeah. And this is a true fight, because this fight is all about is get back. It ain't about nothing. And neither one of them got rid of no high profile. They just want to get back. He just wanted to give back.
I'm on a roll today with my analogies, man. You know what I mean? My analogies are crazy today. I know, man. I know.
Because I remember that fight. You remember they used to have, I don't know if you guys got it on the East Coast, but they used to have this thing out here. That fight, Boychuk and Adams, was on this show they used to have out here called Wild Card Boxing. Boxing for the wild card.
Right. I'm familiar. Was that the fights that were happening? Wait. I am familiar with it though. I don't know if I
Yeah,
saw the fight.
It was happening at the Wild Card Boxing Gym that Freddie Roach owned. And that was right? Sean Porter's first foray into announcing.
Okay.
Sean Porter actually called that fight, to be honest.
So how did I gotta watch it? I plan on watching it. How did that fight go as far as I know how
it was a great fight. It was back and forth, a great fight. And I think Boychuk was up going into round 10, and Adams got the knockout. He knocked him out in the 10th round.
So it was going back and forth. Was it the kind of fight that Boychuk likes to fight, or was it?
It was an inside fight. It was back and forth. They were just going at it. It was boxing had went out the window maybe around round 3. There was no more boxing.
Okay,
it was a fight.
Okay, and let me pull it up as a matter of fact because I want to see. As far as box rank, not to fight. Oh, by the way, shout out to Showbiz who got to deal with Top Rank now. Now he's gonna have.
I saw that this morning. Top Rank, DAZN, and
PBC.
PBC, yeah. Oh,
right, which is amazing. You know, some people have a hard time celebrating. Look, as a content creator in this space, you better learn to celebrate a content creator who's opening doors for you. You know what I'm saying? Who's moving in a way to.
And that's what people forget. And that's what I believe, bro. That people forget. You may not like Showbiz's delivery. You may think he's corny. You may think any of that. But what he is doing, the same with Blue Blood, is they're opening doors for you.
100%. 100%. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna put you on mute for 1 second. I just my mechanic do my inspection. Hola.
Hey, it's ready to go for you.
All right, I'm gonna pop up a little later. You guys close about like 6, 7.
5 o'clock.
Yeah, I'll be there way before that. I appreciate you. No, we'll be there way before that. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right. Yeah, I had to get my inspection on my truck. Hold on, I'm pulling up the box rec. But yeah, opening the doors, right? That's what we were just talking about. As far as you got to congratulate him. When I seen Showbiz get sent out when he flew out to Saudi Arabia for Riyadh, and they flew him out there and they gave him access.
Yeah, that just made me happy. It made me happy. It made me happy because
for him, bro.
It made me happy. You know why? It made me happy. Just being totally honest, because somebody that looked like me got that shot.
100%, bro. 100%. And people need to learn to celebrate. You know, as a community, it drives me crazy because at one point when we see all the arguing and the bickering going on in the boxing space, you want to say, okay, that's just for entertainment. That's what sells. But it gets too deep where the hatred in the heart, you start to see it. And that's where it becomes toxic, where there's genuine hatred, right? Genuine wanting to see somebody who looks like you failed. The same thing we're obviously watching with the Crawford situation. It's like, well, how does that benefit with you? How can you be so short-sighted? You know what I'm saying? That you don't even see that even if he's your enemy most of the time, in certain conversations, he's got to be your friend. For example, if America is going into a situation, you can have all the inner turmoils and energy going on here amongst the different races, the groups of people. But if the country goes at it with another country, you'd like to believe that there'll be some sort of a unification and understanding that we'll handle that later. Right now, it's about priority, right? Priority
is here. So whatever's going on over there, you want here to be okay. You got to go with yours. You got to protect your own. You got to go with your country.
Right.
No matter how we, like you said, no matter how we bicker internally, you don't show that to the next person. You don't do that. It's like now here's another thing that kind of I think gets confusing in this space. Now you can correct me if I'm wrong. But sometimes when fans back a certain fighter, some of us start to believe that just because I back this fighter, that you can't criticize that fighter.
Right.
And that's not the way it is. You know, Crawford has flaws. Crawford's my favorite fighter fighting today. Let's get that out of the way now. But he has flaws. He's not perfect. He can be beat. You know, and I don't have a problem, having a discourse, having a conversation with somebody and they expressing their views, I express mine. But when you start saying things like, he don't sell, I don't like his attitude. The personal stuff that has nothing to do with the boxing.
No, it doesn't.
Just keep it boxing because you got to understand. I mean, we got to look at it for what it is. If you want to be honest, I don't know that dude. That dude don't know me. You know,
Facts.
personally, I don't care what he makes. I don't care what he deserves. He don't deserve to fight. That kind of stuff. I don't get into that. I don't care. I just want to see him perform. And to be honest, I don't care who he fights. I just want to see him fight.
Right. I mean, you get to a certain point, I feel like that, but I also get to a certain point where I do care who he fights. I mean, there's different times for each fighter. If I get to a certain point in their career, like Moses Itauma, for example, right? I don't want to see him fight any fight. I want to see him fight the next fight. I want to see him fighting somebody that's going to give him rounds, make it a competitive fight. I want to see the wrinkles in this guy's game, and I understand and acknowledge that the only way I get access to that is by the matchmaking, by the dance partner being the right dance partner. It gets to that point, right? If Moses Itauma right now pulls up a fighter who's, you know, somebody we never heard of and, you know, has a weird record, and we see him knock him out inside of 45 seconds, well, we're going to be upset at the matchmaking at that point, right?
And that's where you come in. See, as the content creator, that's where you come in. You have to push for him to have meaningful fights. And believe it or not, if more content creators push for this, those people listen. They hear this. 100%. And it will influence their decisions. Maybe not all the way, but it will influence their decision making because they hear what's going on in the algorithm. They hear it.
No doubt, man. But I did pull up this is the card, right? And this is a 3-day event from what I understand, right? So the undercard, the one that we're seeing that everybody's really complaining about, the prelim card, if you notice, it's not here, right? We're not looking at it right here. What we're looking at is the actual legitimate undercard, which I think is a decent undercard, man. I don't see this undercard.
Okay, give me the. I'm old. My glasses. I don't have my glasses on. So, what fights are on this undercard? What do we got?
Right, so the co-main event obviously is a Christian Mbili Lester Martinez fight, which I think is going to be a shootout.
That's a good fight. That's a good fight.
100%. Then of course we got Serhii Bohachuk in the Brandon Adams fight, right? And these guys have a history. We know what Brandon has already done historically with Serhii Bohachuk, and we also know that Serhii Bohachuk's been on a nice run since that time, right? This guy has been really putting in the work. He's arguably beat Virgil Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? He's had some great fights. And from what I understand, I'm trying to see right here. I think, if I'm correct, I think this fight is going to be happening at 160. So the fight is a significant fight because 160 is a division, in my opinion, that
wide open.
Some strength. It's wide open and it needs something there. So we're watching Serhii Bohachuk potentially try to take advantage of that and try to, I understand kind of where he's coming from because 154 is such a hornet's nest. If you don't have that right backing and that right promotion behind you, you can get put to the side and really have a hard time. He's at a point,
and by him having a little bit of a name, in boxing. I ain't talking about with the casuals. I'm talking about in boxing, people who know boxing. If he can beat Adams, he gets to 60, he can get a fight with Adames because Adames doesn't seem to be responding to Janibek, or he maybe can get a Janibek fight. Who knows?
And I'm hearing rumors that Janibek is legitimately entertaining going to 168. He's this close. Don't forget about 2 or 3 fights ago, Janibek almost died trying to cut and make weight. The fight had to be canceled.
I remember that. He passed out. I remember that.
So he's
so he might need to go to 68.
He might go to 168. And that being said, the division is even more wide open, right? Gets the division even more wide open. So this fight is a significant fight at 160. It moves the needle in a big way, and that's why I think people aren't once again, as I was saying earlier, once we get a nice view of the landscape of boxing and we start seeing fighters compete more often that we're not familiar with, we'll start placing them in position. We'll start being able to at home move pieces around, like, what needs to happen? This fighter right here, boom, boom. We'll start being able to put these dance partners together and once again deliver the best fights possible for us to watch as boxing fans. But yeah, back at it. Let me back it up one step here. So then we got that fight, right? Then we have Fernando Vargas Jr., obviously, right? And Kalen Walsh fighting. Once again, 2 undefeated fighters. You see 14-0, 17.
Is that 54 or 68?
This fight, let me see. Kalen Walsh might be, is it 60? Or is it 60?
160?
I don't think it's 154. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think it's 154. Let me open this up and see where Fernando Vargas is competed. Continue with Google. What is this thing doing? Of course you're going to do that. Hold on. Bear with me. Let's see here. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go back here. Let's go here. Fernando Vargas has competed at, it might be 154. This is where he's been. I mean, it might be one.
Yeah.
Let me see where Caleb is competed. Hold on. Oh, it might be a 154 fight. I think it's going to be a 154 fight. I think it's going to be a 154.
Right.
We got to see, right? It's not saying right here what it is. But at the end of the day, this is going to be a good fight. This is going to be a good fight. Kalen Walsh is probably going to be one of the big fighters over there at TKO in that Zuffa boxing, but he's been doing a great job. Ireland is a boxing country that doesn't get spoke about enough, probably. 14 wins, 11 knockouts. Fernando Vargas obviously coming in with his legacy, with his father's legacy, and looking for a breakout fight and to get an opportunity to get in the conversation is his brother Emiliano Vargas. This is a big opportunity for both these guys. And that's another thing that makes these fights great, Shelton, is that the opportunity is so huge. These guys are going to put it all on the line when they fight each other, right? They're not just going to come in, get their one opportunity of getting whatever money Turkey's giving them for this and go into the sunset. Turkey's already made an example of William Skull. These fighters don't fight that way anyway. Fernando Vargas has way more to lose than some money. He's got his father's legacy on his back. And Kalen Walsh, obviously, potentially a mascot for this new promotion that Dana White and Nick Khan's pushing out there. This fight is going to be a great fight. I'm telling you, right. It's going to deliver. I believe it's going to deliver. Hopefully, we never know, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. You know, you got the young guy in Vargas Jr. who's hungry, and you got to figure out what Kalen Walsh is going to show up.
100%. Well, look, both these guys got their O's on the line, right? They both got their O's on the line, so they got to make it happen, right? And then we got
right.
So, I mean, look, pride is on the line for both these guys, and pride is a good ingredient to put inside of a fight for a fan to watch.
Exactly.
Right? Those guys, you know, exactly. They want to measure it, balances everything. You don't want too much pride. You want it to be cerebral and intelligent. But as a boxing fan, we love some ego. Ego's great.
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
So,
of course.
Right. Then we have Ivan Ditchko. I don't know. Ditchko, Ivan Ditchko. We'll go with that for now until we get corrected, right? Eastern European fighter, but real interesting, right? Damn near 100% knockout ratio, right? But look at this thing right here. You know what I'm saying? Right? 6'9".
Oh wow!
This is a big fighter. You know what I'm saying? A lot of punching power. Eastern European fighters known to bring that the fundamentals with them, right? Sound fighters. They bring that fundamental with them. And Jermaine Franklin getting an opportunity, obviously, right? To make a return into the sport, coming right out of here. Another black fighter coming out of Michigan. You know what I'm saying? 6'3".
To shine on the big card. To shine on the card, yeah.
This is an opportunity for him to do something special, right? He's lost 2 fights, but 23 wins, 15 knockouts. He's gonna have to box. He's gonna have to put on somewhat of a masterclass in this fight. We're gonna see how that ends up working out for him, right? We're gonna see how that works out. A good fight, regardless. Like I said, a good fight, I believe. Probably gonna end up in a knockout, right? Guys, we know who Steven Nelson is. We know what he brings to the table. Coming out of Terrence Crawford. 100%.
Who's he fighting?
Reiko Santana. Let's see.
Oh, that's cool. Winnable fight for So-Called. Winnable fight.
100%. And I believe it's his entrance into 175. This is going to be a light heavyweight fight for Steven Nelson. So he's jumping into the conversation up there in the light heavyweight division, which is awesome.
So how old is So-Called? So-Called's what, 37, 36?
He's 30.
He's up there.
Sure. 37 years old.
Yeah, he's up there. Yeah, it's good for him. He don't have to cut weight. That's good for him.
Right. And light heavyweight, he's a great dance partner. Is he going to be a champion? Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to say. I don't know. You never know.
I doubt that. Yeah.
But he's a dance partner for that ass, though. I mean, if you want to see Edgar Berlanga get, you know what I'm saying, get an opportunity to redeem himself, fight Steven Nelson. That's a decent fight for him. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly.
Right?
He's a good
Right,
guy.
right.
He's a good guy to have up there, and you know he can test some guys. He can bring some guys into the division, put them in the limelight. He's the epitome of what we would call what's the word that you a gatekeeper?
Yeah, gatekeeper. You know what I mean? You could say that. You know, journeyman,
Let's,
gatekeeper. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I say journeyman because see, for me now, let me know if you agree with this logic. This is just my logic,
Mhm.
Clay.
Mhm.
I don't think you can be a gatekeeper if you've never been behind the gate. Meaning
Okay.
you have to be a champion. If you were a
Right. You got
champion before, then you can keep the
credibility,
gate.
right? He's missing the
Yeah, you can
credibility.
keep the gate,
Right.
right? Because you've been behind the gate. But if you've never been behind the gate, how can you keep it?
Yeah. Salute to the queen, Rachel Donaire in the building. Salute. Peace, sis. What's good? Glad to see you in here, man. Hope you're in a good space. Are you still out the country on that vacation, or
What
are you
up,
back
Rach?
yet? What's good? What's good, sis?
That's my girl, Rach. What's up, Rach?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Rachel took
Oh,
care of me at a couple fights. I saw her at a couple events. Rachel took great care of me, bro. And Nonito is a stand-up dude. That's a real good dude. I know both of them.
awesome, man. Those are good
Yeah.
people, man. Rachel's been like a little.
Yeah, she's great. She took care of me at a couple fights, man. I'll never forget her for that.
No doubt. She always like an angel over my shoulder, always checking, making sure I'm on point, get me together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying in this
Yeah, Rachel's the shit. But yeah, man. So they're gonna have 3 days of fights now.
Yeah.
Now the question we had yesterday was,
wait. One more special fight on here, right? You got
Okay.
Muhammad Alakel, who's building. He's a young bull, just got his
Didn't
first.
he just fight last week, bro? Did he just fight last week?
He stopped him inside of like the first minute of the first round, so they putting him
Oh,
on
so they
here.
gonna put him. Oh, they put him right back out there. Okay, fine.
Right.
Yeah, put him right back
And
out there.
it's Turkey's little golden boy that they're trying to build up. So they also trying to build their own. He's straight up out of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
You know how that comes up.
Right? I first saw him. I think I first saw him on the Fury cards. He was on the Fury cards, I think.
Yeah, he's been on
the Fury Usyk card. Yeah.
Yup. Exactly. Yeah.
And he was on the Better Bivol card too, as well. He was there.
He's been on all the big cards. Anything that's happened in Riyadh, they put him on there. Anything that's been in Riyadh, they put him on there.
I remember him. Yeah.
He has the benefit of the people who run the show are his people, so he's on those cards. But I like him. Right. I like him. I want to see what he does. Obviously, he's stepping up the competition. This guy 5-2, John Ornelas. Not too familiar with him, but up in age, 33-year-old guy, brings a little experience in the ring. We'll see what Muhammad's able to do with that. But this guy right here, Ryoto Susumi, we just watched his brother, right? We just watched his brother put on a clinic this past weekend. Both these guys are new Ring Magazine ambassador fighters that have been brought in. I'm watching this kid, man. He is looking good in the ring. Literally had his pro debut on the Fatal Fury card. Had his pro debut on that card. Finally got a stoppage in his last fight he just had recently. Somebody to keep your eye on, 100% guaranteed. And it's going to be a 6-rounder for him. So they're moving him quickly. 7 fights, 2 losses. Javier Martinez, they're keeping the competition where it needs to be for him. I think we're going to see him shine too. He's going to make some work happen.
That'd be cool, man. That'd really be cool. So the question we had yesterday, I remember we was having this conversation yesterday. Mm-hmm. People were asking, if you go to different venues, are you going to have to pay? Well, of course you're going to have to pay if you go to a different venue.
Right. I think there was confusion. People were wondering if it was going to translate into some sort of pay-per-view type of situation. And listen, Turkey already put the world on notice, man. He's done with that model, with that business model. This last fight that happened with Moses Itauma and Dillian White wasn't even a Turkey card, right? It was esports.
No.
That
wasn't a Turkey card.
Yeah, people don't know that. They think it was a Turkey card. It was an esports card, which is also another great look for boxing. But not
right.
The viewership at the house is going to be what it's supposed to be, which is available and free. And I don't think people really have wrapped their mind around the strategy behind what Turkey's coming into the space with and why the profit is not so important for this stage of the campaign, right?
He's trying to build something.
Exactly.
If you've ever had a business, your own business, you know that in the first 2 to 3 years, you're going to lose money. It takes a while to get it off the ground.
Salute ETV. It takes a while to build it off the ground, not only to build it, but he's also building the fan base up, right? He's realizing that the fan base is lacking, that he wants to translate and build. He wants to add to the current fan base. A lot of people feel like he's trying to entertain the current fan base, which I'm sure he's doing to a certain degree, right? He's trying to entertain as best as he can, but more importantly than entertain the fan base that exists is to pull in a new fan
the younger crowd, new fan base. Like cats like me and you, Claymore, to be honest, me and you, us older dudes, he don't give a damn about it.
Nah, you like it or you
don't. Because
we
gonna watch it anyway. Because we gonna watch it anyway.
Straight up.
He wants those young guys, those UFC guys, those guys that watch esports like skateboarding, those guys that think boxing is trash. You know, he wants those guys. He wants to bring those guys in.
The MMA fans too, right? The young MMA fans.
Yeah, he wants to bring those guys in. Right, he wants to bring new fans in. And that's the way you keep the sport going. You got to bring new fans in. And when you got guys like Itauma, guys like Vargas, guys like a Keyshawn Davis, because believe it or not, a lot of people can relate to Keyshawn Davis, Xander Zayas,
Abdullah Mason, Shushu Carrington, right? The young guys, this Rayo Sosasumi, you know what I mean? These young guys who want to. He's given the young fighters an opportunity to chase legacy and make money. And he's not into changing the mind of a Tank Davis or Devin Haney Devin seems to be pretty legacy driven for the most part, right? He kind of played around in the mud a little bit with Ryan in that last fight. But at the end of the day, he's trying to mesh the best of both worlds. Okay, so what do you want as a fighter? Money. Okay, we're gonna get you that money. What do you want as a fan? Legacy. That's what a fan should want, is legacy, unifications, champions, the best fighting the best. Okay, so we're gonna get this guy paid to do that, and we're gonna bring these fighters in motivated in the right way, and we're gonna bring the new fans in motivated to see what they're supposed to want to see in the right way, so the sport can grow like it is in the UK. Why can't we have 90,000 people inside of a stadium here watching a fight? Or maybe we don't have a stadium that big, 70,000, 50, 60,000, whatever the number is, the max capacity. Why aren't we having that over here? It's because we don't have enough casuals.
Because we don't have any guys. See, back in the day, like when I was coming up, and probably, maybe a generation before you, right? Mm-hmm. Let's take Sugar Ray Leonard, for instance. Mm-hmm. Do you know that from the time he was 15 years old, we were watching him damn near every weekend on Wild World of Sports.
Wow.
Because they had the amateur fights on. We watched him go through the amateurs. We watched him go to the Olympic trials. We watched him go through the Olympics. We were invested in Sugar Ray Leonard. Plus, you got to remember back then we only had like 13 channels.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think that the pay-per-view model could take a brunt of the blame as far as the lack of interest of boxing from the boxing thing? And I'm comparing amongst its peers, right? Football, basketball.
Yeah, that could take some of it. That could take some of it. But the biggest issue for me, I think the biggest reason why boxing took a nosedive in this country is because the networks got out of it. Once boxing was no longer free on network TV, and only way you could see boxing was you had to have a cable subscription, have HBO, or buy a pay-per-view. Once those were the only two ways you could see boxing, that's when boxing took a nosedive. Because if you remember, right after boxing went off network TV, guess what came on network TV? The Ultimate Fighter. Yeah. The Ultimate Fighter. And that they were trying their best. They were struggling because nobody was watching that. Nobody, a few people were watching Spike TV. I was, but nobody was really watching it. But when they had that Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner fight, the finals of the first Ultimate Fighter, I remember personally, I was calling everybody I knew, hey, you got Spike, turn to Spike. These two dudes are getting down. And that's what saved them. That's what saved them. Because they got eyes on it. And then they started doing the Ultimate Fighters, and people got invested in the Ultimate Fighters, and people start watching the UFC. They introduced the Iceman, Chuck Liddell, and Rampage Jackson, Vanderlei Silva. They introduced all these guys. They stuck them in your face, and they were in your living room once a week.
Exactly. And I think that's
And
the
then if
direction
you remember,
boxing is heading in right now, right?
but yeah, and if you remember, right after the Ultimate Fighter took off, boxing tried that. Remember this thing called the Contender?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Boxing tried that.
That's why I got introduced to Shane Mosley Jr.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And Sergio Mora came from the Contender.
100%.
You know, it tried. It didn't really work. They tried to do it. It just didn't work, you know, because I guess so many people had turned away from boxing, and all those people that didn't watch boxing anymore, they jumped on the UFC bandwagon and the UFC. But put it this way, they bought the company from the original owners, the Fertittas and Dana White. They bought the company for $4 million.
Right.
They just got a deal for $7.7
billion. And the Fertitta brothers sold their portion of it for like
for $4 billion. For $4 billion.
Yeah, they sold it for $4 billion. Dana walked away over $100 million out of that deal.
Right. So,
and fell back, sold his share in the company, and became like a legitimate employee of the UFC with the new company, but walked away with well over $100 million.
That's why he can go gamble like a fool.
Yep.
That's why he can go gamble like a wild dog.
Right. Well, and that also shows that his approach and his strategy to building something from the ground up is tried true.
Take risks.
If you're gonna bet on, if you're gonna bet on somebody to help your new combat sports company blowing up, I think Dana White might be the prime candidate to hire to do something. I'm not bringing in Eddie Hearn. I'm not bringing in Bob Arum.
No, you bring in Dana White because he understands how to build a company. He knows how to build it from the ground up. Number one, and number two, I just don't. One thing I don't like, I hear in the space a lot, is some of these content creators say, "Well, Dana White's going to rob the fighters. He doesn't pay his UFC fighters." Well, you got to understand what he's going to pay these guys in this TKO league is more than they're getting now.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to have like a Terrence Crawford, a Canelo, an Anthony Joshua. Those guys are going to be nowhere near that league. They don't need it.
Yep.
The top guys don't need the league. The league is going to be for the B-level guys, the guys that's trying to get, you know, a name for themselves. It's for those guys, like the Johnny Rices of the world.
Right.
Remember him?
Yes.
The Michael Coffeys. You remember him?
Yes, I do.
Those type of guys will be in that league, and that will help them because those guys aren't making any money right now.
Yeah, real quick here.
So
Tank Fan 86 says, "Who leads boxing for MMA?" Seriously, let's put that in perspective, right? That's interesting, right? What ends up happening is you can watch MMA for free on Spike, or you can go pay $60 for a fight on pay-per-view to watch boxing. What ends up happening? You know how many fans? I'm gonna go to MMA real quick, right? Just to play around, just to give me something to do until next week when I can watch the boxing match for free, right? On some access I can get through the channel, whatever have you. Then what ends up happening? MMA is not as bad as you think it is. It gets a little more exciting. There's structure. There's a champion, one champion. It's not hard to follow. You start to get caught up in all those things, and now you're watching MMA more than you watching boxing. And now what you're doing is you're watching boxing the following week. And before you know it, you're making hard decisions on Saturday. Do I pay $50-$60 to watch the fights, or do I watch it for free? That just served your fan base to the MMA community. It just served you wide open.
And you got to remember, the person that you're talking to has to remember that YouTube is what? Really 10 solid years old, maybe?
Yeah.
11?
Yeah, I would say about 15.
Yeah, but you know, the way it is, the way we watching it now, like now, if you want to watch boxing, you can go to a myriad of YouTube channels or pull up old fights and all that. You couldn't do that 7 years ago, 5 years ago. You couldn't do that.
Right.
Or you didn't know how.
Right.
The internet wasn't the internet that we have now. So you can't use, what I'm trying to say is you can't use today's logic and apply it to 15 years ago because it doesn't work.
Right. 100%.
You have way more access to way more things now than you did back then.
And this is employee lope. This is the next chapter. This is what really put the nail in the coffin for the business model. What happened is they tried to, and people could take this for whatever they take it from, right? But they took the fight away from the fans from a percentage of the fans. They took it away.
Exactly.
They said, we're going to hold it in here. And if you want to see it, you're going to have to pay for it. Well, you got the
Right.
hardcore fans who, you know, I'm going to pay for it, right? But and I'm talking about before pirating, before we understood these websites. And I'm talking about people who wanted to watch the sport, but had to pay.
You had two choices. Like you said, Clay, you had two choices. You could either pay the $80-$90 or you could go to the fight. Those are your choices.
That was it. Right. And if it wasn't for that, you're going to have to hear about the fight. Maybe if it was HBO would let the fight come on the next week. Right. It'd be on there.
Right. They give you a replay.
And you could watch it for free. And that would be when you're watching the fight. And clearly, you know who's winning the fight. You know the results already. You know what I mean? Right. It's a whole different experience.
It's not the same.
100%. It's a whole different experience. So when MMA came around, it gave those fans who didn't have the ability to keep up with the sport because of pay-per-view, and he was like, all right, I'll pay my cable bill and I get this channel, right? I'll pay my $40 a month, $50 a month cable bill, and I'll get this consistent fix. Because a combat fan, a boxing fan, however you look at it, if you're a combat sports fan, MMA was like oxys to heroin. If that makes any sense, right? Like if you were into heroin, you might not have been able to get the good heroin anymore. It was a little too risky. You know what I'm saying? You had to pay a lot of money for some good, but oxy, all of a sudden, oh man, this is like, heroin. And so you translate it into something that was maybe a little cheaper, a little easier to get to, and still gave you that fix. MMA did that. It gave that fix to the guy who just wanted to see two dudes get at it in the ring. It was weird and different in the beginning. You had to get used to the wrestling and the, like you guys say, hugging on another man energy and all that stuff. You had to get used to it, but eventually it became what it is in real life, which is what? A combat sport. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day.
But here's the thing, right? If you've ever been an athlete, and most of us that are in this space that are listening, some of us, I won't say most, I'll say at least 60 to 70% of us have been an athlete at one time. Right. If you've ever been an athlete, you understand what it takes. Number one, just to fight for 3 minutes is murder.
Right.
If you never did it, if you don't do it regularly. Now to having to fight for 5 minutes and you have to incorporate wrestling and kicking and oh man, you got to be in some kind of shape.
Right. You start to realize the competitive nature of the sport and start to understand get past the silliness of it all. And I see, shout out to Albert Real. You're talking about today. I'm talking about how we got here. Right. Yeah. I'm talking about the journey. I'm talking about before there was Red Owl or Star Boxing. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about how we got here to where UFC is where it's at.
You can't discount Clay's logic, because if Clay was wrong, UFC wouldn't be getting 500 to 600 to 700,000 buys per pay-per-view. They wouldn't be getting those kind of numbers if nobody was watching.
$7 billion, where your favorite boxing network can't even get a budget to pay their fighters to put on the biggest events. I mean, it's a whole different conversation.
Thank you. That part. What's up with you, Angelo?
Oh, you know, I always love listening to you, sir. You bring a lot of perspective to the young people who just didn't know what it was like. You know, Shelton, and again, I'm not as old as you, sir, but I'm older than Clay. And people forget that we had to work to get our combat sports. Like we didn't have YouTube like these young kids. We had to go get VHS tapes,
right?
You know, right? Or we would tape the event so that we could read.
How about this? We had to read the newspaper, y'all.
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was a thing.
Now look, I want to be clear. This better not be true, but hold on.
No. So what's happening? No. I told you about this, Clay. So what's happening right now is the country of Turkey's version of Netflix somehow released a poster that is legit from Netflix that said Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. So now everyone is jumping on it. And if Mike Coppinger is indeed reporting this, Clay, it was on your show that I told you this shit was going to happen.
100%.
I told you Tank was going to retire. And then I told you Tank's going to come back. And I told you his first fight was going to be Jake Paul.
Let me tell you something, Angelo, right? Number one, I'm not learning and getting to know who you are. I don't question you as much as you think I do. All right?
Okay. All right.
But I have to offer perspective and I have to offer a little pushback at times because you never know. First of all, the way this YouTube space is, what you say, you got to take it with you to the grave. And number two, until it's confirmed, it's not confirmed. So what?
And I agree with you on that.
What if it has always got to be part of the conversation, right? What if has to always be there, and we have to be aware of it. But I'm going to post it up for people. Hold on, stop screen. Boom, boom.
Now let's be honest, fellas. For all three of us, let's be honest. Real boxing fans who love real boxing don't want to see this.
Yes, sir. Yes, no, you're right. But it's not for us, though.
But
you know
the kids and the people who are kind of casuals and people who just love Tank or just love the storylines, they're gonna eat this up. They're gonna eat this up.
Yep.
I'll be honest. I'm not even gonna pay for it. I'll catch some highlights on YouTube, so I'm not paying for that.
Yes, sir.
Even if it's on Netflix for free, Netflix for free, I'm not watching it. I don't care about that.
Well, the other thing too, Shelton, and this is when I'm trying to remember which show it was when I was telling Claymore this, but we've seen this before actually, and this is the thing is if you have kids who grew up kind of like, oh wow, do you like Jake Paul like I did? My son, he begged me to buy the fight. I was like, he was younger. He was like, Dad, please, we need to see this. And we've seen this type of fight before. It was when Floyd Mayweather Jr. came back out of retirement to fight Logan Paul. It was an exhibition. I said to my son, I was like, Mayweather's gonna wash this guy. I'm telling you.
You talking about the Conor fight?
Get a contest. Why would I pay this money?
No, the Logan Paul he's talking about. Logan Paul.
Yeah, Logan Paul.
Oh, Logan. Okay, Logan.
Yeah,
okay.
Because at the time, what the narrative they were trying to spin to my son was, or the way the advertisers were doing it was, hey, Logan Paul's so much bigger. Mayweather's old. This is really interesting, and you should watch it, kid, because these are YouTube sensations, right? And my son don't got no money to pay for it, so I paid for it and I watched it, and it was exactly what I thought it would be. Floyd Mayweather hitting him a lot, and Logan Paul going, God damn, I ain't never been hit that hard, so let me just hold on to him. let me hold on to dear life. And for people who somehow think Jake Paul is gonna box Tank Davis, come on, man, come on. It's easier to say Jake Paul has a chance to beat Gervonta Tank Davis. And I'm talking, Shelton, not to us who actually know boxing, but to the common mainstream people. That's what this is. This is like, Claymore, earlier you were talking about the heroin thing. I thought I walked into the movie American Gangster when you and Shelton were talking about this stuff.
I had some extreme examples of it. That wasn't the first one. I was like one of three that I was just, people were just bugging.
No. But I was gonna say that it's funny because to the mainstream people, Shelton, Jake Paul versus Tank Davis is kind of like their blue magic. You know what I'm saying? like they wanted to see,
I can't talk shit and I can't complain because I did watch Muhammad Ali versus Antonio Inoki. I watched it.
Oh, that's right.
I wanted to see it. Yeah. I watched Muhammad Ali versus Lyle Alzado and wanted to see it.
Yes, sir. Now that I was old enough. Yes, sir. That I remember that.
Wanted to see it, and loved it when Alzado hit Ali and Ali got pissed and started beating the shit out of him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I loved it. Yeah. But so I can't be the old fogey sitting up here saying, "Oh, that's bullshit fight," because I've watched bullshit fights before.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you this, Shelton. Speaking of kind of, I don't want to call it a bullshit fight, but I thought it was crazy. You were alive, so I'm wondering if you watched it. Do you remember when George Foreman fought 5 people in one night
and knocked out 4 of them? And knocked out 4 of them, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Knocked out 4 of them.
Yes, sir. People forget that he did that. He for real fought 5 different people in one night.
I didn't know that, bro.
Oh, yeah. There's a whole poster. It was after he lost to Ali, right, Shelton? Am I wrong? He lost to Ali. He wanted to kind of recreate his career.
Yeah.
There was the Canadian promoter, and they put it up in Canada. Is that right?
It was after the Rumble in the Jungle, yeah. That's right before he lost to Jimmy Young.
Yes, sir. That's correct. That's correct. Yeah. He fought 5 people in one night. Like literally.
Wow.
And Foreman, like Sheldon's saying, Foreman knocked out like 4 of them.
And the last guy went the whole 3 rounds, but he was running the whole time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, it's not like in Shelton's generation, they didn't do stuff like this. It's just now, what you were saying before, Shelton and Clay, is that there's so many more options to watch now, right? Even the NFL isn't in one TV anymore. The NFL is in all kinds of different streaming services and also all these.
And you got to pay to watch it. If you don't have a streaming service or cable, you're not watching no NFL games.
Yes,
sorry.
Yep.
You can watch Monday Night Football, maybe. Or if you got an antenna, you can watch Monday Night Football if it comes on ABC, if they simulcast like they usually do. But you can watch the Sunday games if you have an antenna on CBS and Fox, if you have an antenna.
Yes,
but if you want to watch games and just watch the game you want to watch, you got to have a streaming service or something.
Right.
Yep. And by the way, this and let me bring it back to real boxing and again, no disrespect. By the way, in this channel, we do not disrespect Jake Paul. Can we just say that? We don't disrespect him. We call him we call it what it is. Like, if you ask a real question, we're gonna give you a real answer, right? Like, and so, but we don't troll on him. Nobody's trolls on Jake Paul. Jake Paul, thank you for bringing a new set of eyes to the sport of boxing. 100%. Thank you for continuing to promote women's boxing and pushing it to the level that 100%. It is. Okay. And thank you for putting a hell of an undercard. Like, people who were complaining about when he did Chavez Jr. versus him, I said I wouldn't have paid the pay-per-view for that main event, but I damn sure would have paid the pay-per-view for all the undercards. Raul Cariel and I mean, those are some great undercards.
Even the Mike Tyson undercard was a good undercard, bro. The Mike Tyson undercard was a good undercard, bro.
And again,
fellas, I got some business I got to take care of, but I want to ask this before I go. Mm-hmm. If they do make this fight, Paul and Davis, with those 2 egos, who's going to take the dive?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I'm going to tell you like this. Also,
that's a good question.
The mere fact that Gervonta Tank Davis is taking this fight, and shout out to all the Tank fans out there, because I know, I'm going to tell you straight up, I know you guys are going to go on a campaign to discredit this and say this is not true, this is fake news, and maybe it is. I don't know, right? But if it is real news, Tank has lost. The disenchantment with the sport is to the point to where there's nothing I'll put past him as far as that part of the conversation is concerned, of what my guy Sheldon just asked about. As far as the legitimacy of this fight, the theatrics of this fight, I have no idea. Because I think once you get into this conversation, this is a conversation, like my guy Angelo Reyes said, it's no longer real boxing. This is all theater. It's WWE. I don't know what it is. I don't know how real it's going to be, how fake it's going to be. I don't know what Tank is willing to do. I don't know if he's willing to lay down. I don't know if Jake is willing to lay down. I don't know what the story is going to be, if indeed this fight is announced to be a real fight.
And my answer to you, sir, and I know you're a busy man, Shelton, so I'll try to keep it as short as possible. But as you know, I like to get perspective on these things. This is why last night when we did our show, and thank you again for joining us last night, I have so much high regard for Terrence Crawford. Because for people who say, well, the only reason why Terrence Crawford is moving up 3 weight classes is because it's his highest payday. Well, the only reason why Tank Davis is doing this is because this is Tank's highest payday. The difference, though, is Terrence Crawford is willing to uplift his sport and take a risk and show everyone, I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to risk my O, and I might lose, but none of you are going to say I didn't go for legacy. This, on the other hand, takes Tank out of the Hall of Fame in my book, for me. Just because instead of challenging yourself, young man, you're only 30. Instead of fighting Shakur Stevenson and saying to yourself, let's make this fight happen.
Oh, a winnable fight.
A winnable fight for you.
With money behind it. Like, there's no excuses.
There's no excuses. You chose to took the lottery ticket. Let me go ahead and fight the big white guy, and that isn't really even a ranked boxer. And let's turn this into a circus. And again, man, hey, shout out to you for wanting to get your bag. That's great. But this is not boxing legacy. This will go down in history as the guy who fought the kangaroo in a boxing ring in Australia. Woo. Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez will go down as history as like Shelton, like when Sugar Ray Robinson moved up 147 to 160 kind of deal. That's what people will be talking about. It'll go down in history as, and you're old enough to have seen this on closed circuit, Shelton, when Jose Napoles Montequilla moved up to fight Carlos Monzon in 1977. Like that's
when Leonard fought Hagler, when Leonard fought
Hagler,
when Leonard fought Lavon, like that. It's like that.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I got you.
Yes, sir. So yeah, that's my answer to it.
I gotta go. Hey, great show, man. I appreciate both you guys, and I will see you soon. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
No doubt. Salute, Shelton.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting news, you know what I mean? Interesting news. It is what it is. Interesting news. We don't know if it's real or not. I can tell you this though. This is a Ring Magazine post.
Yeah. But they've been wrong before too. Coppingers reported early also before. So it ain't real until we hear it from MVP Promotions. Now, if Most Valuable Promotion says it, this is also, and you know what, Clay, and man, I really don't want your channel people to start thinking that I hate PBC somehow. All right, but is this another one of those writing on the wall? The PBC's done because they already lost Benavidez to Riyadh, and earlier in 2025, remember David Benavidez was like, I don't know. I'm probably not going to go to Riyadh. And then now he is in Riyadh. And now their biggest star, Tank Davis, is doing a circus fight. So I don't know, Clay. Are we going to have PBC fighters in 2026 or is it over?
I'm going to tell you this. This does speak to, I don't know what the future holds for the PBC, but this does speak towards Tank Davis is the PBC. And then when you look at David Benavidez now, headlining a Riyadh card in November, Tank Davis is legitimately the PBC. This is this news right here, depending on how true it is, how accurate it is, speaks a lot towards the stability of the PBC, in my personal opinion. Because it also speaks to the future fights that Tank Davis is willing to make with the PBC, and also, let's be honest, Jake Paul's not fighting under the PBC banner. This is going to be a Netflix, maybe joint MVP PBC fight on Netflix. Maybe this might open the door to Netflix getting involved with the PBC on making some fights. I don't know. This might open up a door. Maybe this is a favor that Tank Davis is doing for the PBC to allow. Maybe this is the only fight Netflix would get behind. You know what I'm saying? That the PBC could offer Netflix. What do you think about that?
I mean, PBC worked with Netflix in some capacity last year on the undercard of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson because they had Mario Barrios versus Abel Ramos, remember?
Right.
So I guess, but if anything, I think, maybe PBC's just having a fire sale, bro. They're having a garage sale, man. Everything must go. David Benavidez, you got to go. Tank Davis, you got to go, right? Manny Pacquiao, come on over. You can fight Mario Barrios. Worst case scenario, Mario Barrios loses. Mario, you got to go anyways. You know what I mean? Like Rolly Romero, man, you want to fight Manny Pacquiao? Here you go. Riyadh season, December 27th. Have at it. You got to go. Like maybe that's what's happening. I don't know. I certainly don't see any type of remember when PBC was at the height of its power? Mm-hmm. And I always talk about that 2013 to 2023 where they could have done something about it and they didn't. they were like the Great Wall of China, man. It was hard to get through, right?
Right.
It was hard to get through, and now they just they're breaking it down like the Berlin Wall, brother.
Listen, this is I don't know. I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt, but I'm gonna tell you straight up. If you guys asking my personal opinion, I think Mike Coppinger is a credible source of information. I don't know how accurate it is. I'm sure he's following the breadcrumbs just as much as we're following breadcrumbs following him. So things are subject to change. It could not be what it is. He could be wrong, but this ain't no rinky dinky website. You know, Ring Mag. This ain't rinky dinky, right? This is where there's smoke. There's usually fire in these type of postings. We won't know until it comes to fruition. But I know that a lot of Tank fans are not happy as much as they've campaigned for the past 2 to 3 ever since he fought Lamont Roach. The rumors have been spinning about Jake Paul. Jake Paul made announcements or spoke on the situation to say that he was in negotiation with Tank, that the draw was an issue and that he had to handle that before the fight was made. And we had a lot of pushback. This is nonsense. This is all propaganda. This is all hating narratives being pushed. Tank ain't never announced he's doing this. You guys are making stuff up. Well, now it's hit another level of intensity. Has it hit truth yet? No, it hasn't hit truth yet. But has it hit? Are we past the nonsense of the narratives? I've been past the narrative nonsense. I've been known that this had legs under it. But to see it going back, and that's another thing, to see it going in this direction, in spite of a rematch that's supposed to happen, in spite of it, that means he doesn't care anymore. He does not care anymore. The draw, however you feel it happened between him and Roach, he doesn't care anymore. He probably hasn't cared for a long time. Let's be honest, right? But he's exposed it now on the highest level, to not handle that business, to not make a fight with Shakur Stevenson, to not fight any of his contemporaries, to be ready to end his career and to be in negotiations with potentially fighting Jake Paul. Hey, man, it is what it is.
I mean, and you spoke about this when we were talking about Lamont Roach yesterday morning on your show. So
yes,
you did 2 back-to-back shows, right? Morning one and a evening one.
Right.
And we've spoken before about how not only do we have 21 world champions born and raised in the United States of America, but brother, we own 135. That's the glamour division of the United States. We own it all. Shakur, Murtazaliev, unless Abdullah Mason loses to Sam Noakes, and hey, all respect to Sam Noakes, you got power, brother. Abdullah Mason, this kid is different. I'll be proud to go on the channel and say I was wrong if Abdullah Mason loses, but I'm telling you, Clay, this kid's the real deal. He is disciplined. He is disciplined at 21. He is willing to take risks. He's willing to fight in the pocket. He's not just trying to dance around. He will knock you out, even if you knock him down. I mean, this Abdullah Mason to me is every bit as exciting as Naoya Inoue. The only difference is he has not gotten the resume championships yet. But Abdullah Mason at 21 is the truth coming up at 135. And I say that to say that Tank Davis, who is currently the WBA 135 champion at 30 years old, at the peak of his career, chose not to fight any of the other champions, any of the other challengers, like a Floyd Schofield, even his number 1 mandatory, Andy Cruz, the controversial fight against Lamont Roach, right? Mm-hmm. There's Fradamil Macayo that MVP promotes from Valenzuela, who's looks like a pretty good killer. Hell, man, rematch Isaac Pitbull Cruz. You already beat him once. It was pretty exciting. Why not? Do something, brother. There's Lucas Body if you want to beat a white Canadian. Lucas Body is a number 5, right? There's so many other names.
It is all over the internet, bro. It is dropping by the minute. We got newspapers, The Sun. Listen,
well, of
bro,
course.
I don't know, bro.
No. I told you it would be real. I told you like a month and a half ago. This would
Boxing News has jumped on it. The Bleacher Report has jumped on it.
Yeah.
His own website.
Everybody's going to jump on it. And the only thing I'll say that will make this super legit for me is if you see on Twitter, Most Valuable Promotions. If Most Valuable Promotions, who has a fight card Friday night and Saturday, they're doing 20 fights, 10 on Friday, 10 on Saturday, free on YouTube for most of them. And then the main cards are free on the Zone. So you guys tune in for that with real boxers, with real competition. Right.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's get into
it. Right. But if I see it play more, then my prediction would have been correct. From what I heard, this is what I knew was going to happen. He was going to not fight Lamont Roach.
You called this shit.
He was going to retire, and then he was going to come back, and then he was going to fight Jake Paul. What he does after he fights Jake Paul, who knows? But at the end of the day, in one stroke, Tank Davis became a circus freak rather than a Hall of Fame world champion. Because think about it. We're going to have to revisit it all the way back. The only way Tank doesn't get thought of this way is if somehow Jake Paul wins a legitimate world title. If Jake Paul at some point before he retires and calls it quits somehow wins a legitimate world title, then maybe. But now, when you did that entire show where we had to tell our tale of do we believe Tank Davis is in the Hall of Fame or not, and the majority of us said no, really look back now. Who did Tank Davis fight? Pedraza? Maybe you could say Mario Barrios at 140. Maybe.
All those fights have asterisks next to them. I've been said this, and people don't want. I don't care. It is what it is, bro. Mario Barrios was getting ready to go up in weight. He had a rehydration clause in that fight, and it was still a great fight. A great fight, man. I gave Tank so much respect for that fight because it was part of the journey, right? But if we're going to talk about hindsight on his career, as in we're ending his career, as in we got to go ahead and. You know what I'm saying? And analyze what we have, and there's no more to be added to it. It's not enough. It's not enough, man. It's not. It's not enough. I don't care. Shout out to Tim Bradley and his analysis of it, and he felt like it's going there. I don't know. Sometimes he's trolling, sometimes he's not. I don't know if he's talking about just the way the Hall of Fame works now. Would I be shocked to see Tank Davis in the Hall of Fame? No. I wouldn't be shocked.
No, of course not.
But if you're asking me,
it's easy to get into Hall of Fame now.
Right.
It's easy.
You know what I mean? But if you ask me to personally be honest, no. It's not enough. He just didn't do enough. And he could have done so much more. And I think history, when it comes to him, will be all about what he could have done versus what he did. I think that's what the conversation will always be about, which is sad. Because the reality is that man can fight, bro. That man can fight in real time. He's really like that. A real talent. A real talent, man. That's what sucks about this. He really liked that. Could have beat all of his all of his peers, all of his contemporaries. He could have beat them all. He could have beaten Devin. He could have beat Shakur. He could have beat Teofimo. He could have beat them all. Could have lost.
But this will make everybody now say, think about it from this standpoint. The hardcores, even the casual boxing fans will say, I'll tell you the exact reason, Claymore, why I know Tank couldn't have beaten Devin. He couldn't have beaten Shakur. He couldn't have beaten Lomachenko. He couldn't have beaten Raymond Murataya because he took the Jake Paul fight. That's why.
Man,
if he could, exactly.
I like it. I see where you went with it. I got you.
If he could, he would. Okay, because those who can do and those who can't. It's just like what Denzel Washington just talked about with the Dallas Cowboys, brother.
Yep.
There's box office and there's Oscars.
Right.
It's been a while since you've been to the show, Tank Davis. It's been a while, brother. It's been a while since you've been to the show. There's box office and then there's Oscars. Shakur trying to go for Oscars. Raymond Murataya is trying to go for Oscars. Abdullah Mason is trying to go for Oscars. All right. Tank just wants to be box office, Clay. That's all Tank wants to be.
This is crazy, bro. This is crazy. It's crazy.
Is it an accident, would you say, that Dana White comes out, hey guys, here's all the undercards completely for free on YouTube. And then the next day, bam, Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. Don't be surprised if Turkey slaps back with something else. Don't be surprised, man. Don't be surprised if before the weekend is over, Turkey goes, all right, motherfucker, I'll raise your Jake Paul versus Tank Davis event, and I will see you with Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua in December. You know what I mean? Like Turkey's gonna come back with something fun.
Look
With
at this
something
viral,
big.
bro. Tank fan 86, man. Oh God, bro. Really, you know, I appreciate you being here, and I know you love boxing, but this is right here. This is what's wrong with boxing. This line right here, right? This line right here holds so much weight as to why you guys have lost your voice. You look at this man's money as some sort of, what do you care? There's no excuse because the money is there to fight champions. The money is there. Turkey's going to put the money up for him to fight Shakur Unify. The money is there for him to fight Teofimo. Turkey would get behind that. There's money in the game. This isn't about money. I could see if he was getting offered nothing to fight Shakur. If he was literally getting offered a couple $100,000 to fight Shakur versus going to make a bunch of millions of dollars with Jake Paul. Although that would still mess with me as a fan, I would say I understand. Damn, bro, I get it, man. Damn, that's messed up. Somebody need to pay this man this money. Man, let's make this fight happen. But the money's there for Shakur. This is not about his money, bro. We don't need to keep bringing this up. Oh, bro, this is about potential. This is about potential. What they say? How does the old saying go? Angelo, about nothing. What did in Bronx Tale? In the Bronx Tale, what did Sonny say? Nothing worse than wasted talent.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Nothing worse than wasted talent. That's what this is about. This is about, damn it, it could have been better. You could have done way better than this, man. You could have done better, bro. To the sport. You could have done better, and you still could have gotten your money, man. You just chose to go in a different direction. That is just not something I can celebrate. I just can't celebrate that for you, brother. Good luck. Have a good time. You did what you did for you, but no, bro, you disappointed. You disappointed, bro. That's what happened. Look at, here's a real, here it is right here. You know what I'm saying? That's a real Tank fan right there. Rick Timms, a real dude, a real dude, bro. The boxing space know who Rick Timms is. Rick Timms has been in the space long enough. We know who he is. And that's the reality. What he just put there. That's a boxing fan. That's the reality of what's just happened right there. If it's true. If it's true, that's the reality, bro. That's the reality. That's what this means to boxing fans who understand boxing, who've waited on the sideline and watched this charade get played out for a year now, and just put all their eggs in the basket of, where's my guy Anton at? That's my guy, my Aki Anton, man. You watching, Anton? I know you driving around right now. You might be working. Texting and driving is not a good thing. But where's our 100 push-ups? I got a funny feeling it ain't going to be Lamont Roach.
Now. And let's go back to that for just a second. Where does Lamont Roach go from here, brother? Where does Lamont Roach go from here?
Well, let's speak on it now, because I was speaking about this a week and some change ago, and I said, while Tank is figuring things out, champion in recess. Well, now, is there a bigger argument for it to be just strip him of the title, bro? And
yes.
Vacate the title at this point.
Don't make the WBA look more crooked than it already is. Come on. Come on. He's no longer the champ if he does this.
Bronca, are you talking to me? You're not talking to me, right?
Yes, it's okay for Devin to fight Jose Ramirez.
Are you comparing this? Are you comparing that?
That's a terrible line. What are you talking about? Yes,
you're not
it's
talking to us,
okay.
right? You're talking to somebody else. It must be. Did we jump in the middle of a conversation?
Yeah, he must. Yeah, he must be talking to
is?
someone else. He must be talking to somebody else.
We jumped in the middle of it. We need to mind our business. I'm gonna
Yeah.
put it down.
Sorry, chat. You guys do your thing. You guys do your thing.
That wasn't for us, clearly.
Hey, somebody's challenging you though, Clay. There is a Butcher who's challenging you.
What does he challenge me for? Where's Butcher at? What's he saying?
Go ahead and look at it. It's the Butcher.
Claymore Rain, you say you the same person who say Shakur should be a prize fighter, so I can. Oh God, bro.
Go ahead, Clay.
Oh.
I told you, man.
Let's speak on it, right?
Go ahead.
First of all, the fact that you would even jump into this and try to justify what Tank is doing, that's a whole nother type of diabolical, right? But let's stay on topic. Let's the fact that you would even jump, that you wouldn't just stay quiet and save this for at least a week, let this go by and be proven out to be true, but fine, the Butcher. A member of this channel, by the way. Salute to the Butcher.
Hey, salute to the Butcher. Salute to the Butcher.
Brother, when I said that about Shakur, what was I saying?
It was about Conor Benn, Clay. You were talking about Conor Benn.
Yeah,
when you're talking about
Conor Benn, exactly. This still would be a challenge for Shakur. It could be on Shakur's legacy to challenge himself the same way that we see Terrence challenging himself to go up in weight classes. But I was saying that because Shakur has an expiration date on his hands, right? And him waiting around in a division at 135 to fight somebody who's not going to fight him, he was looking to make the biggest fights. And now with Turki Al-Sheikh behind him, he can make the money as well as make the biggest fights. This is not the same thing. This is about somebody who doesn't have opportunity, who's not able to make the big fights happen in his own division. This is not the same as Tank, who can make any fight he wants. All he has to do is have an offer sent out, and anybody and everybody, shoot, I might. You send me a contract, I'll get in the ring with Tank. You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody he sends a contract to is going to accept the contract to get an opportunity to fight against the face or a face of boxing. This is nowhere near the same conversation, brother. The Butcher, come on, man. You know better than that. That's not what this is about. Brother, that's not what this is about. This isn't about prize fighting. This is about a circus act. Yeah, it's about prize fighting to a certain degree for Tank. He gets to make a big amount of money, but there was other routes that he could have went. We're talking about Shakur. We're talking about somebody who's been limited on his access to the biggest bags of money, to the biggest fights. And that being said, what is Shakur pushing for right now? A Teofimo fight, right? That's what he's pushing for. What is he pushing for right now? A Lamont Roach fight. He's still pushing for the best fights that he can make. But he is a prize fighter at this point. And this was in reference to him unifying titles, becoming a champion, and doing those things. This is not the same thing as what Tank is doing right now. You guys got to stop, man.
So I do want to join in on the chats. So Benny Bronca put this up. He says Mayweather went and wrestled nobody and ain't say. So he's trying to make a point, right, about it. Okay. And my answer to you, sir, and I know you're talking to everybody else on the chat, is yes, he did. And then you know what he did? He actually boxed real champions and proved to be what he proclaims as TBE. Tank retires, doesn't do a rematch with Lamont Roach, which everybody knows he lost, and then runs to Jake Paul. Runs to Daddy Jake Paul. I'ma say it. I'ma say it. So come on, man. And thank you for somebody said, I think it was one of our guys that said, Coach Eddie. Coach Eddie says Tank and Mayweather are not even in the same atmosphere. Thank you, Coach Eddie. We shouldn't even be mentioning them in the same sentence, man. Come on.
No way. Mine, yours. I respect the not knowing part of this statement right here, right? But so when I say Shakur Stevenson has an expiration date, what I mean is in any given Sunday, he can hurt his hands in a way to where his career may not be able to be the same. He might not be able to compete. He has fragile, brittle hands, bro. Yes, other people have had hands that are broken and things of that nature, but we've watched Shakur Stevenson go through surgery already, miss out on a fight with Joe Cordina. We've watched his hands, and even in this victory that he had, and this great performance he had against William Zepeda, went into that fight with injured hands. This man has a hand that is prone to injury. So what do I mean by an expiration date? I mean that every fight counts for Shakur. Every fight he makes now, he's thinking he wants to make the biggest amount of money. He wants to make it worth it because it could be he could not fight for a year and a half, or his career can end. Who knows? Now, we won't speak that into the air to put any bad mojo on Shakur, but when I say his hands have an expiration date, I'm simply speaking to the reality of who he is right now with his hands. That's all I'm saying. We don't know what the future holds, but he has to take that into consideration. Is Shakur going to go ahead and fight against Carmel Moulton right now? No, bro. He's going to look at it like, hell no, bro. He's looking at his hands and he's going, if I'm going to get in the ring, it need to count. It need to mean something to me. A lot of money, it needs to mean something to me because I'm not just fighting just a fight anymore. My hands aren't promised to be here tomorrow in the same capacity that they are in today. Right? Salute to Ross Glott. There he is. He put Tank is a bum under his name. Tank is a bum. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me go ahead and hook everybody up with their names.
Hey, salute to HLD. HLD, always good to have you.
What's good, family? Yo, hold it down for a second for me, Graham. I'm gonna go to the guy's room right quick and handle some business.
Go ahead. HLD. Can you mute? Can you mute, brother? Can you mute?
As long as you don't get me demonetized.
No,
yeah.
This is not. This is circus music, man. This is circus
okay. Do your thing. I'll be right back.
This is funny.
Go ahead, HLD. Go ahead.
This is just funny. That's all. I'm not so bothered with Tank because he's always been a globetrotter. I've never been. There's no love lost here. I know what he is for many years. I've never had any interest in this globetrotter. You know, he's now solidifying more than ever. It's that he's never been that guy. He was famous for knocking out a bunch of guys that are nobodies, but he hasn't fought anybody elite in his division ever. Name me one. Name me one. That's why he panicked in that fight versus Roach. He panicked so much because there was a big money fight on the line with Jake Paul, which is why he was at that fight with Roach. And when he saw he was getting his ass whooped, he freaked the fuck out. And he had to take that knee and run to the corner. He's, oh my God, I'm about to blow this mega fucking fight with Jake Paul. Yo, this is what and what they did. The commission even cheated them because the rules for the replay says that they can use the replay even after the fight is over to make the correct decision. That is by the New York State Commission rules, but they themselves were corrupted to not review it and say all that bullshit excuse that they did. Yo, this is just corruption at its finest for Roach. I feel bad for the man because he is going to be out of some pay because he deserved that rematch. But what this guy's doing, I'm not surprised. I just don't want to ever hear these Tank sexuals tell me anything more about how good this dude is because he never was that guy. He got a little bit of taste of it versus Pitbull Cruz, and he definitely got a full taste of what losing is like versus Roach. And that's why he don't want to do. Now he's on the retirement run, and that's what he's going to do. He's done, bro. This guy's done.
HLD, I just want to report this before I let Ross Klott do his thing. Claymore, you got to find the poster. It is official. Jake Paul will face Gervonta Davis in an exhibition boxing match on November 15th in Atlanta, live on Netflix. Official, y'all.
I might get me a ticket and go just to make sure that is happening. I got some family in Atlanta. I might go out there, visit right quick, get me a ticket, and take some pictures out there and everything next to the ring. Like, you know what I mean? Hold on, let me try to find it. So where is it on Twitter?
You could go to MVP, Most Valuable Promotions is talking about it now. Happy Punch is talking about it, which is really connected to Most Valuable Promotions, I think. But yeah, it's official. It is official. Yahoo just did it. Yahoo Sports. So it's official, man. It's official. It's going to be done November 15th at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, airing live on Netflix per Ring Magazine. Is what Yahoo is saying.
Promotions. I don't see it here. Is it?
It's not on MVP?
No, here's Most Valuable Promotions right here. The real one, at least.
Okay. Well, I mean, Happy Punch.
The only ones announcing it is Coppinger, Ring Magazine, and then everybody else who's taking it from them.
Okay. All right. I thought somebody on the chat said it's official. It was on Most Valuable Promotions.
But they got specific dates and everything. So I when it's very vague, like Coppinger has a vague thing, but there's specific of when and where Coppinger reported it as when and all that stuff. So I'm not surprised. They said
you're right, HLD. Maybe they want to troll Coppinger and make him wrong.
No, I don't know. What Coppinger reported was that the AJ fight and Jake Paul fight fell through because of network issues, and so then they went over to Jake Paul.
Oh man,
I'll tell you what wouldn't fall through because of network issues if they want to make Joshua versus Wilder now. I am hearing though that Wilder and Ngannou could be a thing, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm hearing about that as well.
Whose name changed to Tank is a bum? Who are you? I need to know.
You know who it is. Shout out to my man Ross Clark, man. What's good, Ross?
Hey, nothing. I just want to say I think that Tank fan 86, he's probably just a troll. He probably just somebody that maybe came from that fake lawyers page, and he probably over here just trolling, because you could tell by his comments they kind of immature and stupid. Like, I mean, he says, oh, y'all discuss it, y'all buying tickets. Well, it's going to be free on Netflix, so I don't know what tickets you're going to buy.
Because I said something like that, but
if
you don't hear the sarcasm in my voice,
right.
I don't know what to tell you, brother.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we live in an age now where a lot of people stream these big fights. So I don't think anyone really cares. And it's just an exhibition. Listen, when Tank Davis gets paid whatever millions he get, his Tank fans feel like they getting paid too. And it's whatever. Who cares?
Right.
Who cares? Who cares? It's a circus show. It is.
Yeah. It's at this point, and when you think about all the pushback, that just entertaining the idea, just being like, well, if this is true, what does it mean? You guys are pushing narratives. What do you mean? Tank never said this. You guys just run around all that energy. And I said it. I said the day this thing develops into something for real, what are y'all gonna say then? I've been said it. What are you gonna say then? Because when you guys put up the resistance that you put up for this fight, it's because you guys realize how much of a circus show this fight would be, and you wanted to make it so far-fetched and so out of reach, and you wanted to make it diabolical that we would report on this or speak on this and turn it into us. But just like I've always said, Angelo's heard me say it, and I'm sure Ross Scott's heard me, and HLD heard me say it, and I'm sure everybody in this chat has heard me say it, just like I've always said, we listen to Tank more than you guys do. We actually follow his moves and listen to him. You guys put words in his mouth, make stuff up. You try to project on us that we're the ones out here pushing narratives, but we're not doing nothing but following the breadcrumbs and being honest about what we're reading about and what we're seeing. And you guys have been living in a delusional space forever when it comes to your fighter. Now, if you guys in the beginning would have been like, shout out to Ant McQueen, said, hey, get that paper. Hey, Ant, I ain't mad. Ant said, look, Ant, honorable, because from the beginning has always said, listen, man, get your money. But for the guys who made this diabolical, that this could never happen, this would never happen, you screamed out that Roach was going to get the rematch and all these different things. And nah, bro, this is a lesson. And the lesson is stop putting words in your guy's mouth. Stop telling us we're doing it, because we're not. Anything I've ever speculated on or spoke on, I've looked at the facts for what they were, and I speculated in the most humble way, ready to be proven wrong. But you guys turned all that into a bunch of hate and a whole bunch of projection that we're doing. But look what's happened. Look what's happening. I don't know if it's going to happen for real or not. Still, we don't know, because we haven't heard an announcement. We never.
Oh, he disappeared, y'all. Go ahead. Keep going, Ross Scott. Go ahead.
Here we go. Yeah, I just want to say. Oh no, go ahead, Clay. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, just to say that we're never gonna know until, not from Tank's team, because he doesn't make announcements, he doesn't speak on these things. But at the end of the day, the reality is, be honest. Be honest. Your fighter is super honest. One thing I'll never take away from Tank is his honesty. That man will speak how he feels. Listen to your fighter, bro. Listen to the guy you're a fanatic of. If you're gonna carry his meat, You know what I'm saying? And holster his meat for him and make his and protect his meat. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna do that, at least listen to him. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it feels like he's a mascot for you guys. Like you guys don't even really care about Tank like that, or you guys aren't even really fans of him like that. You guys are just more looking at him as like an image, like, and that's probably why he doesn't talk to you dudes, and why he doesn't do none of your words, or none of your shows or nothing like that, because he knows y'all don't really care about him. That's why he would make a decision like this, because he's ready for the pushback. Trust me, he just doesn't care.
Hey, so can I also say, and Rossclot, I want you to go. Sorry, I just wanted to say I totally agree with you, Clay. If you listen to what Tank Davis has said in the past, and you just believe him for what he says, and as long as he never goes back on his words, he came into the sport and he wanted to get his bag and he wanted to get out. I'm cool with that, man. If you're not proclaiming yourself as the best ever, if you're not proclaiming yourself as one of the greatest fighters to ever come into the game, if all you're saying is you came into this rough world and you came into this business and you had talents and you want to get out, great, awesome. And just like you're saying, Clay, it's the Tankomaniacs, man, to try to put him on this pedestal, like this guy, this fighter is someone even as great as Aaron Pryor. He doesn't even come close. He doesn't even come close to that. And Aaron Pryor had problems, but Aaron Pryor is in a whole nother level, man, than someone like Tank Davis. But go ahead, Rascott, aka Tank is a bum.
No, I just want to say I think it's silly too that, so Jake Paul does professional fights and then he also does exhibitions. Why isn't this a professional fight? Why isn't this going to go on box record? Because someone in the chat said, well, Jake Paul is a professional. Is he? Okay, he's a professional, but the fight is an exhibition. So that right there is telling you that this is just a fake money fight or whatever, just to generate money for basically for Jake Paul to have more money to move around with his MVP thing. I mean, the whole thing is fake. It's no point in even making fight predictions for this. There's no point in even caring about what's going on. It's just an exhibition. So what does it matter? Because that right there tell you that the whole thing is just a shit show. That's all it is. Excuse my French.
Until they actually say that it is an exhibition, I'm gonna hold off on that. I'm going to hold off on that part because
he just read that it was an exhibition.
Doesn't it need to be sanctioned though? Doesn't it have to meet some criteria for it to be sanctioned?
Look, right. I said the other day, I was on the panel the other day, and I was trying to say, about an Oprah guest Winfrey who says, "Believe something when someone tells you who they are." That was Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou told look, man, when someone tells you they crazy, they're telling you that they crazy. Believe them. Tank had said that he don't give a shit about legacy. He don't give a shit about belts. He's telling you out of his mouth, which is back to what Claymore was saying earlier. You know what I mean? He ain't lying to you. We listen to what he's saying.
Yeah, so if it's a real fight, then what weight class are they going to fight in if it's real?
My man, I'm just can you what I'm trying to say is your man is always.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I'm asking you, if it's a real fight, what weight class is it? I'm asking you if
it. What Coppinger said is for the fight for when his brother fought when his brother fought Mayweather and that exhibition, he was locked down to 190, and I think Mayweather was at about 160.
I know that was an exhibition. If it's a professional, what weight class is it going to be?
Man, we don't have.
It's not. It can't be a professional fight. It can't.
I know that's my whole point. That's why I said it's an exhibition.
Okay.
That's my whole point. That's why I think it's an exhibition. That's my whole point.
Yeah. Shout out to Coach Eddie, who's in Atlanta. Shout out to Coach Eddie for joining us today.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, Claymore.
Yes, sir.
I gave you a new name. You Claymore the Chef, not Raekwon the Chef. Claymore the Chef.
I like it. I love cooking.
Yeah, only built for Cuban links.
Yes, it. Yeah, that was the purple. That was the purple tape. That was the purple cassette. You tell my age now, right?
Yeah.
Yo.
Nah, man. Listen, man. We've been lightly touching on this topic for about a month now, right? Well, ever since more than a month, ever since the Lamont Roach fight. But I just once again, boxing is doing so well and moving in such a great direction. So many great things happening in boxing, and just trying to put perspective on the idea. And shout out to my brother Blue Blood. I used to tell him this as well. We can move past Tank. Allow Tank to ride off into the sunset the way he wants to ride off into the sunset. He wants to make this fight with Jake Paul. He wants to make this big bag of money. He wants to do all this. That's what's up. But boxing could use the attention of some of you Tank fans who have channels, right? Instead, and if Tank is fighting and he's doing something in real time that makes sense, okay, but you guys spend all your time putting all your eggs in this basket of a man who's made it clear he's on his way out the door. And I'll sit here and say something as simple as, well, you know, while he's trying to figure it out, why don't he go on recess real quick and let's open up that WBA title and allow some champions to be made in that division so the division can move forward, so boxing can benefit of it. Oh, you hating on Tank. You hating on. I'm not hating on Tank. I'm respecting Tank. You guys are disrespectful to Tank's wishes. He don't care about belts, and he doesn't seem like he cares about the Lamont Roach fight, and he looks like he's looking to go into hiatus. I'm hearing rumors from credible sources that were telling me that he wasn't looking to make a real fight until next summer potentially. Brother, let the division, let boxing move forward.
Hey, hold on, Clay. Hold on. So breaking news. This is to give I think HLD is the one that might have said it credit. It could have been that Jake Paul just wanted to troll Mike Coppinger, because his actual Instagram, most valuable promotions, 4 minutes ago, what they put is only things sources can confirm. And then when you slide it, he's just talking about Friday and Saturday's event. That's all. So he might be trolling Coppinger. Maybe it isn't real. It isn't real until we see most valuable promotions.
I hope it's not real. I hope it's not real, because it's a stupid fight.
But the thing is, this was always in the cards. That's why Jake Paul was at the Roach fight. That's why that man panicked when he's getting his ass whooped. That's what happened. He's like, damn, my next payday is going out the damn window. You know what I mean? So this is very credible that it can actually be. Now give credit to this motherfucker Jake Paul. This guy, if he gets this fight, he's gonna overshadow the Crawford Canelo fight.
No, he won't. No, he won't.
On viewership,
no, he
yes,
won't.
He will. Yes, he will.
No, he won't.
Yes, he will.
No, he won't. No, he won't. No, he won't. I'll guarantee you he will not get 300 global subscribers to care. I'll guarantee it.
People have Jake Paul fatigue, man. I mean, this dude is whack, bro.
Exactly.
Even he's sitting there talking about fighting AJ. We all knew that fight wasn't going to happen. If Jake Paul fights AJ, he will be seriously injured. He will have a freaking brain injury. Dead serious. He would have a brain injury. He would be laying in the hospital, probably in a coma.
They got so much fatigue that 110 million people watched him fight Mike Tyson.
That's because of Mike Tyson. That was on the strength of Mike Tyson, not Jake Paul, bro.
Yeah, that was Mike Tyson.
If that number is true, it's because of Mike Tyson.
Well, that's the number that Netflix put out.
I know, but we have to actually get the numbers from like whatever ratings commission that follows it.
It's from Netflix themselves. You're not gonna get it, and nobody's gonna have their inside numbers. But
y'all run with stuff so easy. Wow, man. Yeah.
So Jake Paul
Hey Clay, I think this Tank Fan 86 is Bub's boxing account, a different account.
Oh, that's what it is. Bub.
Yeah, it's the same pattern, same speech pattern.
Bubs ain't here, and Bubs ain't here. It is Bub. It is Bubs.
Fugazi, come on, Bubs. Come out of stop hiding, brother.
Yeah, yesterday I was ignoring Bubs. That's what happened. Yesterday I was ignoring him. You know what I'm saying? And what he did was he went and flipped and got another account. What am I doing? Feeding right into it.
Oh, why are you doing it, Clay?
That's who that is.
Why are you doing it, Clay?
You do know what's odd though? Not odd, but adds to that. Tank has been out of social media, and yesterday he puts out a little thing out.
Look at him
finally. I gotcha. They got a gotcha on the dude. And everybody who knows Tank, that when he disappears on and when he comes back on, they were saying out everybody, oh, Tank's about to have an announcement. He put something already on. He came out from hiding on Instagram or something like that. And here we are today now talking about it.
You know what it is? I think a lot of Tank fans, these Tank channels, they want people so bad to care what Tank is doing, and I really do not even care what this kid is doing. He's like out of sight, out of mind. He could retire tomorrow, and it wouldn't even register on my radar. But they're so invested in this kid for whatever reason. For one, I mean, I'm an old school guy. The way he carry himself, that ain't my cup of tea. They call it this new style, young style, whatever. I call it something else. I ain't gonna say that. But whatever you want to call it, it ain't my style, man. So it's like it don't represent boxing to me. Yeah, can he fight? Yes, but it doesn't represent the whole what I'm used to seeing a way a boxer carry himself. And he, like I say, this dude is 30-something years old, never fought any of his contemporaries. That's crazy. To be 30 fights in, you didn't fight Devin, you didn't fight Shakur, you didn't fight T.O., you didn't fight anybody. You just had your hope.
Loma
nobody.
Was the first fight that he's so supposed to have fought. Loma.
He just got a whole bunch of stations running cover for you.
We'll put that on Loma for that. Well, not the first time, the second time. But at the end of the day, man, I am disappointed, bro, because I want him to give us at least one, man. Just one. Just make it happen. Just to make it. Just one. You pick. It could have been Shakur. It could have been T.O. It could have been for me, my guy Keyshawn Davis. It could have been any of those.
Bro, it could have been Loma and he didn't do it. It could have been Haney and he didn't do it. It could have, it could have been get you nowhere but disappointments. All right, and stop acting, Clay, like this man cares about us. He doesn't care about us.
No, I'm not acting like he cares. I know he doesn't. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying that it's disappointing as far as the talent, as far as the stylistically the fight being made. Seeing Tank Davis speaking about him in the sense of a style, not as a person, right? Tank Davis, a fighter who we've watched fight for however many years he's been a pro. Seeing him against Pedraza, seeing him against Mario Barrios, seeing him against Leo Santa Cruz, seeing that fighter that we've seen and knowing that stylistically, damn, I would love to see him in the ring with.
So, Flyer Frequency, you're saying he fought Ryan Garcia. Ryan wasn't a champion when he did it.
No, trust me, Frequent's trolling.
He still isn't a champion. But what I look at this is that I'm looking at Jake Paul being a freaking genius if he pulls this off. Jake Paul is a freaking genius because he shouldn't be in this position, and he is, and he's making that money that without trying to be a legacy fighter for real. Tank is the one who supposedly has all the people think he's a legacy fighter, but Jake Paul, he pulls this off. He almost pulled off the two American side faces of boxing to fight him, and he pulled one of them. He had Mike Tyson, he had Canelo on the hook until Turkey came in. And now he's got Tank. Yo, this guy's a genius. Regardless of how you want.
Oh yeah, Jake Paul.
You know what would be
next
dope
level marketing. Jake Paul is next level, bro. When it comes to doing what he's doing right here, next level. He deserves all the respect and celebration for the way he makes these fights, the attention he gets, the way he trolls the boxing space, the way every piece that he moves like a chess piece. The man is a marketing, social media genius. Fact.
You know what would be dope as hell? And I like throwing these out here, Claymore, just in case I am correct. Like I was correct about this happening. But because it's not official and because Jake Paul did his little thing, how dope would it be that if Jake Paul makes an announcement and says that, oh yeah, it's official, kind of like the Canelo thing, and Turkey swoops in and says, I will double what you're going to get to fight Jake Paul, but you got to fight Shakur and you got to do it in Riyadh. How dope would that be, bro?
He's done it before. You're right. Yeah, he did it to Canelo. Right.
Yeah. He did it to Canelo when Jake was trying to fight Canelo. That's what I think he's saying basically is like, what a spit in Jake's eyes that would be for another fight that Turkey snatches from Jake Paul and says, get the hell up out of here. Real boxing over everything. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Teach, man. Teach got Teach, man, Teach a real boxing fan too, man. But Teach got that patience. He got that island patience. Teach, you live in the islands or you in America? We haven't westernized you enough and built that cynicism in you. You know what I mean? That real cynicism that lets you know that, Man, go ahead, bro. That fight ain't happening, man. Stop it, bro. Tank and Shakur ain't happening, bro. I hate to break your heart, bro. It's not happening, Teach. You ain't been here long enough.
It might. This might be.
Give up, Teach. Throw it in. Throw it in.
I'm gonna give you hope, Teach. I'm gonna be the voice of reason for you, Teach. If Jake Paul makes an announcement and Turkey Al-Sheikh decides to swoop over it just like he did Canelo, it could happen. Because you already know that Turkey will only pay you the bag if you're fighting a real fighter.
Don't let him get
Jake Paul. Jake Paul is afraid because Turkey already put the hit out on Jake Paul. He already said he'll pay AJ to fight Jake Paul. So the money's there. All Jake got to do is sign the contract. He don't want that smoke.
No,
he know he's gonna be in the hospital. He know he's going to the hospital.
The fight fell through because of network issues.
No, the fight fell through because Jake Paul didn't want any smoke. It wasn't no network issues. He didn't want the smoke.
It's reported.
But we all know that's cap, brother.
That's why we got this fight. It's reported. That's why we're here with this fight.
We don't know what it is, right? Because trust me, I know in a few days, if this turns out to be debunked, and if what my guy Angelo's saying is true, that Jake was trolling Mike Coppinger and did that'd be another smart move by Jake, by the way, because this would be a direct shot at Turkey Al-Sheikh's baby, Ring Magazine, to have them putting out false information. I could see Jake Paul legitimately setting it up, having the right people around him, 2, 3, 4 degrees of separation from him, drop something in Mike Coppinger's box. Mike Coppinger gets I could see, listen, Jake Paul is diabolical. I could legitimately watch him do this just off the strength of discrediting Turkey Al-Sheikh, even though they shook hands recently. They shook hands recently and seemed like they made bygones be bygones, right? This would definitely burn that bridge if that was the case. I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm leaning in the direction of this is probably has legs and this is probably what it is.
I'm gonna lean on the direction of this could be a troll, and I'll give you a theory. And I do understand why they're saying Jake Paul might be a network issue, because Anthony Joshua is extremely loyal and does have a lifetime contract with the Zone. Right. And Jake Paul is with Netflix. So I could see that. But I also, when you read the tea leaves, there had been the talks about Jake Paul versus Wilder. So I could see this as a troll from Jake Paul to try to get Turkey back, but also to gauge the interest and kind of stir the pot. Jake Paul's the ultimate pot stirrer. So he stirs the pot. Everybody gets this is what a shame for boxing. This is a circus. How you going to fight a dude that was the 135 champion? I'm done with Jake Paul. Last time you fought a man this small was Nate Robinson, and Nate Robinson didn't even know how to box. This is terrible. I hate this. And then all of a sudden, Jake Paul goes, I don't know where you guys got that report. That was whack. The next guy I'm fighting is Deontay Wilder. And now everybody goes, oh, well, shit. If you fighting Deontay Wilder, now that's different now. Now we like you again.
I'm actually interested in seeing a fight like that. I'll watch a fight like that, Jake Paul and Deontay.
But the thing is, this was to be the next fight for Tank. This was supposed to be the fight next for Tank. It's not like we're pulling this out of there for the first time today.
Right.
This is the real official fight. And if you think about it, you think about it business-wise. Is there money in that Roach fight compared to this fight? No. Not even close. So, this was already in the plans. This is what it's supposed to be. And I think I said it the other day. I said, if he goes along with whatever else, it's going to drown out no matter what Roach says and happens with Roach. Whatever next fight Tank does is going to drown out the rematch. And it's just the way it is because he's that popular. Nobody's going to give a shit except our hardcore that think that Roach really deserves what he deserves.
Now, also, this fits with Tank's schedule, retiring in 2020 at the end of 2025. This falls right into line. If the Roach fight if he's limited on time, because he probably planned on fighting Roach in August, or July, August, right? And that would have left him time to make this fight happen. November, this being announced in November, this kind of like closes it up a little bit. Like, I'm really out of here. Let me get my biggest bag of money. I'm retiring, just like I said I would. Hey, man, the man spoke on this, bro. He spoke on this and how he looked at boxing, man. We just having a hard time believing him. Well, not we. Y'all are having a hard time believing him.
He himself said it, bro. Maybe he is really done. He's like, man, I need to get into therapy because his life is all fucked up as we see it and know it. His personal life is all fucked up. all full of what domestic, all that shit. And he knows that he needs to do better for his kids. I don't think he's a total asshole. I think he just caught up in the world that he's in, and he knows that he needs to repent to try to get better. And I wish him for the best in that. So if that's what it is, and I'm gonna cash out, make my $40 million a year, whatever the hell they're making, and I'm done. Good for him as a man. And if he's gonna try to do better for his kids, like he's spoken about, you know what I mean? And so I wish him for that and the best. But just don't make him a legacy fighter, you tankies.
That's what the problem is. It's always smoke with the fans. It's never smoke with Tank.
And I don't want to hear, he could have beat him. He never fought him, bro. I don't want to hear that no more. Because they're gonna say that, but if Tank would have fought him, he would have beat him anyway. Nah, bro. The fantasy stuff is done. Completely done. But I respect him in that part if that's the way he goes. I don't have no issues with it.
Yeah, I think Tank will be leaving all his Tank and Maniac, high and dry. Even all the Tank-based channels, they'll be like, where do they go from here? They'll be lost, man. They'll be like, wow, we lost our leader.
And people could say what they want, but Ring Magazine, you guys, I see Tank Fan 86, aka Bubs Boxing, up in here saying who's confirmed this. But Ring Magazine has been a credible source of boxing information. Every now and then, they might get things, wrong to a certain degree or say it a little too early. But for the most part, bro, there's well over, if Ring Magazine says it, it's well over 50% chance that it's true. Well over 50. I'll go even like over 75%, like 75%. They're pretty accurate. When they say what's going on, they're pretty accurate.
Unless the information is coming from Turkey, who's used them to troll.
Hey, when he said he ain't doing that no more.
but in this case, we're trying to say that he's trying to troll Turkey, right? We're trying to that was already they're trolling Coppinger, and then they're gonna. I don't think Ring Magazine is gonna let themselves look stupid for Turkey from another dude. So I don't think that's where it's gonna fall. Hey, Ray,
what's up?
What's your tissue, man? I didn't know tissue.
I like to bring up a point about it being an exhibition. I mean, we seen Logan Paul really go after Mayweather. He really tried. I mean, he tried to knock him out. Who's to say that Jake Paul just won't really go after Tank? Because guess what? You can get knocked out in the exhibition. We seen Mayweather knock people out in the exhibition. We seen Manny Pacquiao knock people out in the exhibition. Exhibition just means it's not going on your record. It doesn't mean you can't get knocked out.
Yeah, no, Jake gonna try and knock him out. Netflix. Jake has a career in boxing. Tank may be on his way out the door, but Jake has a career in boxing and promoting, bro. He's not gonna play with Netflix's with Netflix's time. He caught enough heat for supposed quote unquote potential fixed fights with Mike Tyson. I'm not saying he did fix a fight, by the way, because I heard he passing out lawsuits for that. But what I'm saying is he had enough heat on him for that type of situation. I don't think he gets involved with another situation like that with an opportunity to fight on Netflix. I think he tries to clean Tank up. I think he tries to get his head up out of here and out the park, knock his head off his shoulders. And I think Tank is going to have to, get up under those hooks and make this fight something. I mean, maybe Tank runs around, gets on his bike for 10 rounds. You know what I'm saying? It pisses everybody off, but it won't be Jake.
He did pass out that lawsuit to Pierce Morgan, so you read about that.
Yeah, he said he's serious about that. He ain't playing.
But what I want to hear right now, I'm sorry.
Shout out to our brother Ray Davis. Thank you for joining us. I know you were busy doing fatherly duties, sir, but thank you so much.
Always. Thank you for reaching out, man. I was listening. I was literally listening and not listening to them. Like, you tell your kids to focus on stuff. We in the school and I'm listening to the show. Dying.
So how do you feel about the news though? Like when you heard it, was it like aha?
No, not at all.
Don't you see he took down his Tank Davis picture off the wall? He don't have it back there no more. He used to have a Tank Davis picture up there. He took it down already.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, that's my cousin. That's not Tank.
No, you took him down. That empty space up in the corner. You had Tank Davis.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No.
He wiped a tear from his eye. I was like,
listen, man, you see that just happened, right? Yeah. But no, I think I knew this was going to happen. This was something that was already in the works. So a lot of people talking about it. I actually got wind of it 2 days ago. It's still not set in stone, but it's definitely something that they're negotiating, and I'm pretty sure they're going over the fine tuning. of things. I'm just laughing at the reaction to the fan base, and unfortunately, Rick Tim's the only serious fan out there. I feel for you, bro. I mourn for you. I do, because I think this is a disappointment to you as a real boxing fan, not some, you know what I mean, like man fan. Unfortunately, I ain't want to say it like that, but the truth is the truth. It hurts. If the shoe fits, wear it. But when we look at this whole scenario and how it plays out, it's like we have all these excuses of why he couldn't fight the best when the best wanted to fight him. Everyone made all these reasons why. We can go all the way back to the end of time. I'm not going to mention names. We all know who they are. You guys already brought them up. But what's important here to realize is that it says a lot about Gervonta's, who he cares about, right? You guys thought that you were in his pockets and you worshipped him like some sun god in the Amazon and thought he was going to come out here and do what y'all wanted him to do. And Tank already told you he don't care about y'all. He said this so long ago in the interview. It's like, yo, I'm here for me. He told you he's letting his team go. He told you he's doing certain things, and that's it. This will be funny. And I have to give Jake Paul credit for one more thing. He is literally bringing boxing back as we state.
He's doing it, yeah. Listen, and Tank fan, not only am I going to watch the fight and criticize the fight, we're probably going to call it.
Yep.
In the whole card. Don't get it twisted over here, bro. I don't give a damn. I'll help Tank make some money. I don't care. It's content. I don't care. I'll criticize it. I'll watch it. I'm not going to listen. I'll criticize. I was going to put myself on blast about how I'm going to get to watch it. But yeah, I don't care, bro. I don't care, bro. It is what it is.
Hey, listen, Tank, man,
it's the truth. It's the truth about it that we're trying to get to and be honest about it. It's not about this fight shouldn't happen. No, bro. It's about accepting the fact you Tankamaniacs accepting the fact that your fighter has been done with boxing when he said he was done with boxing.
Yep.
And that none of these fights that you guys were preaching on the top of the hill. And Anton, when you get back, we do want those.
I want my push-up. Each one of us to get 100 push-ups, right?
Yeah, we could do one a show. We'll do one a show. Now, I mean, it'll take about a month to get it all done.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of people.
Your chest is gonna be right. You know what I mean? Them shows gonna be right. We're gonna get you where you need to be. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's about and once again, this has always been about the fans. Because Tank, I ain't never had an issue with Tank. Nope. Tank spoke to me, told me what he wanted to do, and I said, damn, champ, all right, man. I mean, I wanted to see you do something else, but hey, bro, if that's what you're gonna do, let's move on to it. The only thing I ever asked the Tank was, can you let go of the WBA title? Can you let the division continue? Can you let somebody else fight for that title and get the belt and allow the division to move forward? That was it. But I ain't got no problem with Tank wanting to leave the sport or fighting Jake Paul on his way out the door. That's what's up.
You know what I
just want to respond to that too, real quick. So with the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, and you know me, Clay, I was one of the people that was not going to watch it because I felt like this was terrible. But the only reason why I was predisposed to having to watch it is I respect boxing too much to not watch Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. I respect boxing too much to not support Mario Vargas versus Abel Ramos. I respect boxing too much not support Shushu Carrington. So if you get me because of that and there's only one fight left, then fuck it. Yeah, I'll watch it. If he does the same thing, you're right. Even though this is free, I will not watch Tank versus Jake Paul, but I will be there for the undercards. And if I just happen to stay for Jake Paul versus Tank Davis, then that's how he got me.
That's how it was for me for that fight because it was really for me. It was about Amanda Serrano.
No, 100%. If they would have an exclusive fight with just them, like it was just that event, I'm not watching it.
I wasn't watching that, but I'm gonna watch this one. I've never watched a Tank Davis pay-per-view fight live. I've never paid for any of his fights. I just didn't care to watch any of them. But I'm watching this one on Netflix because it's gonna be the greatest globetrotter show on earth. You know what I mean? I want to have a good laugh. Now I'm gonna. Hey, you guys gonna call it live? I'll tune in just to have. Hey, I want to have my giggles with this shit, and then hopefully he gets knocked out so I can laugh.
I'm gonna get my cheesesteaks. I'm gonna violate my macros. I'm getting cheesesteaks, wings, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get me some old dudes because I don't really drink, like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna get me the beer without the alcohol in it. I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna watch I'm gonna watch boxing with the community, bro.
Does this give us a Tom and Jerry type atmosphere for us? Like
it could happen. I'm wondering if Tank
bro, this is a mega fight, bro. What are you talking about, man? This Tank
yo, you so sarcastic, bro. I can't help you.
Tank Davidson gonna knock him out.
Yo, that's crazy. Now I was looking at your boy here, Clay, the butcher. And I don't know why he would say this. The black people always hate on black people. Hold on. Why would we say that if we supporting Tank, first of all? And the first thing they do as black people and they support Tank is hate on other black people.
Bro.
That is the worst thing to say. First of all, that's crab in the barrel mentality.
Bro, that's not fair. Especially when that's not fair. Especially when Tank fan channel, the way the Tank fan channels have built their platforms,
beating up and dissing other black people,
tearing down Terrence, tearing down. Come on, bro.
I got a remedy, guys.
When did anyone in this panel ever see Bootsiness fighting a circus fight or Shakur fighting a circus fight and was okay with it?
But we got a remedy for this comment, bro. Just start hating on the white guy, Jake Paul. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Let's hate on Jake Paul, bro. It'll make him feel better. You know what I mean?
You guys are diabolical, bro.
And we already know Jake to 175, right?
That was a low blow. That was a low blow. That was just diabolical. That statement was crazy.
Yo,
can you put up Ann McQueen saying that's open to interpretation? Which fans are we referring to? I think that's a conversation that's happening in the chat.
Oh, that's probably what I said when I was talking about
that's our Stokes.
Yeah, when I was mentioning that some of the fan base basically are man fans, and I said the shoe fits where I believe
this is wrong information, Benny.
No, he's a boxer fan. I mean, boxing fan. He's not a boxer.
Yeah,
fan.
you could tell him, man. But I was going to tell him Errol held up the division, not Bud, bro. Bud held on to the titles because of a rematch that was going to happen, and then he used the titles to leverage his opportunity at 154 like he was supposed to, and he went into a championship belt. If Tank Davis wants to sit on the WBA title, leverage it to get a fight with Gary Antoine Russell to make a big fight up there, I'm with it. I ain't got no issues. And once again, I didn't say strip him until I heard about this Jake Paul fight. I said recess. Put him in recess.
And by the way, it was Bud's camp that announced that he was letting the 154 belts go. So he ain't holding up anything. 154 has been flowing, bro. I mean, are you lost, Benny Bronco?
Well,
we just talked about it last night. October has 3 major 154 fights happening. The WBA belt is being fought this Saturday from Yoenis Tejas is defending it. So Bud let that one go. The WBO belt that Bud had already went to Fundura. What are you talking about, bro? Bud ain't holding nothing up. What are you talking about?
No, my bad. I was talking about something else, but yeah, you just put perspective on that. I was thinking about 147. Yeah, holding the WBA belt to go fight, to go up there. Yoenis Tejas is about to be, yeah, he just said it. It is. But once again, I want to compare it is what it is. We're going to defend. Listen, some people are going to sit back here and they're going to defend it. They want to defend it. They want to make it. They want to make it that we're making it ugly and we're talking about Tank and we're talking bad about Tank. And I'm not talking about Tank. I'm talking about the fans.
I'm talking about the fan base.
I'm talking about the fan base who sat there and said that we need to push this narratives, that Jake Paul was never part of the conversation, that where did we hear that from? Blah, 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 blah. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, don't forget
I ain't got no problem. I ain't got no problem with what Tank is doing. That's his business. It's his money. I really don't care either way. You know what I mean? This has nothing to do with Tank or hating on Tank. This is about y'all fans who sat there for 3 months and put words in that man's mouth and turned everything he said into trolling and propaganda and nonsense and projected on us a bunch of nonsense that you guys were doing yourself the whole time. The whole time you were saying that we're putting words in Tank's mouth. Who's putting words in whose mouth in real time?
He will never betray Al Heyman. He will never betray Al Heyman.
Yeah.
First of all, let me put this in perspective too. I don't know if anybody knows. I think Al Heyman already stepped away from boxing. Let's be honest, right? I believe he did. It's also Tank did say in his interview that when Al leaves, he's leaving. So this right here is everything is meant to be. Like, I don't know why we didn't see it coming. I mean, I'm sorry, this is too funny.
Just business-wise, well played by him. You know, business overall, his entire career, you know, he made his money. He He gave whatever fans that they wanted, his niche fans that he has, and he gave them what they wanted, and he made his money. Granted, for that, there's nothing to take away from Tank and that aspect. Just don't dare call him a legacy fighter, a Hall of Famer, the best of his era, and all that capping shit. He has been the best moved business guy in the game, absolutely. Because Canelo, to get his paper, he had to fight people. This guy hasn't really fought anybody, and so I commend him for that. Hey, Mayweather gave him that head start, and he kept on rolling with it, and good for him in that aspect. There's no way to hate on that. Just don't call him a legacy fighter. Don't call him that he could beat anybody and everybody that he's never fought and avoided. So that's the only thing. It's just against the fans. It's not really about Tank because he's been honest. And Jake, and just like Claymore said earlier, we who don't really been listening to what he says. We've listened. I don't care about belts. I don't care about legacy. All I care about is my paper. Granny, done.
And to add to your point, HLD, Ryan Garcia just went on Twitter, and his response to this is, this just proves that the new blueprint is get popular, be a decent fighter, pick fights to win that gives you advantage, and continue to rack in money. Integrity of the sport is getting ruined every day. If you are an up and coming fighter, I just focus on strictly building your name.
Wow.
I don't necessarily agree with all of it, but that's him coming out of it.
Yeah.
He can't talk too much.
That's crazy.
You guys have a comprehension level that's difficult, but I'm going to be patient with you, right? No, I'm serious, right? So I'm going to really be slow and see how much honesty is really in here. Because I don't know how it can go over anybody's head that I've said as clear as day. I have no issues with Tank Davis doing whatever he feels like doing. He doesn't have to fight Lamont Roach. He doesn't have to fight Shakur Stevenson. He can go fight Boo Boo the Fool for all I care. I done tapped out of the Tank Davis legacy fighting champions conversation a long time ago. The shot is at the fans. The conversation is with the fans. The conversation is with the people who put the words in his mouth and said that we was out here projecting. This is what this conversation is about. This is not about Tank doing anything that Tank wants to or doesn't want to do. I can't speak any clearer. I've been saying it so long, and this is the issue with the space. This is the issue with the space. Shout out to Aunt McQueen as well, who spoke about the 4 months being forever. That's not what that's about. As far as Tank Davis being put in recess or Tank Davis leaving the belt alone, why did I say that? I said that because at the time, Tank Davis couldn't fight. He was dealing with a court case, and I brought it up and said maybe they should consider recess because it looks like he needs time away from the sport. Also, I had pretty good information, inside information that I didn't communicate with the space, saying that Tank Davis might not be fighting until next summer. So I was counting that time, not the 4 months that it's sitting on, but the time that was going to go by to say that if he was entertaining these different routes, that he was talking about fighting Manny Pacquiao at 145, that he was talking about fighting at 140, that he wasn't going to fight Lamont Roach, that he wasn't going to unify with Shakur Stevenson, that he wasn't going to defend the title, that considering recess, which was me taking into consideration that he wasn't done with the division, but that maybe he wasn't going to compete in the division, just like, by the way, Devin Haney, when the WBC put him in recess, right? When he wasn't entertaining fighting Sandro Martin, when he was talking about taking time away from the sport, right? Or just like Terrence Crawford, when the WBC did the same thing with him at 147 and allowed him to be a champion in recess. I simply offer that as a potential solution to the division moving forward, right? But you guys, bro, you guys turn it into accountability being the worst thing in the world. When champion in recess was a great solution. If I would have said strip him of his title, he's not defending of his title, yeah. But the ideas that I put out there weren't about hating on Tank. It was in the spirit of boxing. But you guys will hold up boxing, turn this all into an attack campaign on Tank Davis. And this conversation is always going to be and has always been a conversation between me and the fanatics. Never about Tank. Because like I said, unlike a lot of people inside this chat, I listen to Tank. Unlike a lot of people in this chat who have sat here, and that's what this conversation is about. And I won't allow you guys to move the goalposts or turn it into something that it's not, because it's not about Tank. Tank can do whatever he wants to do. And by the way, I've been telling y'all that Tank's going to do whatever he wants to do. But you guys are the one who's been pushing the narrative that this Jake Paul fight was completely nonsense and wasn't going to happen. So you guys can continue to put words. I'll be patient and I'll continue to respond and bring it right back to the point where it needs to be. I won't get upset. I'll stay right here with you. And every time you leave, I'll grab you and bring you right back here, which is the conversation is between me and y'all, not Tank Davis.
Accountability.
So keep on moving. Keep on moving it. And I'm not going to even get upset. I'm just going to grab you and bring you right back. Bing! And bring you right where it needs to be.
Accountability in 2025 is like a gruesome crime nowadays, bro. Nobody wants to be accountable. Y'all saw what Roach tweeted out?
Hold on one second.
Yeah. I was about to go with that.
Hold on one second. We're going to get on that. Angry White Man. You damn right conversations about what Ring Magazine just put out there. But let me ask you a question. Because you're so, when I see statements like this, my question to you is, if it is true, do you have an issue with it? Good. I'll throw the link right there for you, brother. There it is. Let's go. We need somebody up here to put some perspective on it. There it is. Right there. Right in between. Right there. Don't worry about it. It's right there waiting on you. Oh, trust me, bro. No problems. Right there. I'm waiting on you. There we go. There's my guy. Salute, Angry White Man. What's good, King?
What's up? What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Doing good. Doing good. How you feeling, man?
What up, Ray? How y'all doing, man? Listen, bro. If it's true, I'm fucking I am so against this fight. I can't even fucking begin to explain on your platform how fucking much I'm against this fight. First things first. But bro, it's just some things that, like, when I see a tweet like that, I start to critically think about the situation, right? And I say, didn't I just get told a couple months ago by Tank Davis himself he has a 6-fight Amazon Prime deal? And then I think, you think Amazon Prime would be okay with Tank going to Netflix and fucking fighting Jake Paul on their platform? That's the things I start to think. You know what I'm saying? You guys never thought about that?
Anything is possible. Angry White Man. Anything is possible, right? I think that at the end of the day, covering it for face value, that's, as a content creator, that's what I'm going to do, right? Like, I get it. The information came out, and we're speaking on it. About information, we're not making it up. It's Ring Magazine. They're generally one of the credible sources of information in boxing. Nobody's 100% batting 100, right? People miss points. Mike Coppinger could have gotten some bad information. He could be misled. We've even entertained the conversation that Jake Paul could be trolling Mike Coppinger, trolling Ring Magazine, doing this on purpose just to build up a bunch of commotion. I heard. So we're entertaining all aspects of it. But at the end of the day, I think for me, where I take my position at is just the idea that anytime we try to cover something on Tank Davis that is out there, as long as we've been covering this from the night that he fought Lamont Roach, from Jake Paul being in the building, to the word being that he was going to fight somebody who was in the building in his locker room, to Jake Paul himself coming out and saying that we were negotiating, that, yeah, me and Tank was going to happen. He came out his own mouth that everything has to be a lie. Everything has to be a troll. Everything has to be us pushing a narrative, and it's never just us simply covering the news that's out there. It's never that. It's always something diabolical. And I find that to be interesting, right? That this conversation can't move forward on a simple fair playing field to be like, yeah, bro, that's what's out there. I hope it's not true. That's crazy, bro. If it is true, that'd be crazy as hell, man. Yeah, man, I heard Jake Paul say that.
I'll
Bro.
be
That's
sick.
what he said. Tank ain't say and deny it. Tank didn't come out and say, yo, that's BS. PBC didn't come out and say that's BS. Leonard Ellerby didn't come out and say that's BS. Kenny Ellis, Calvin Ford, nobody from that team ever came
We're
out
10
and made
minutes
a
away
statement.
from it dropping, though, Clay. That's you got to give him some
I mean,
time.
we're covering. It's hot.
You know what I mean?
It's hot. No, I'm talking about.
I get it. Clay,
I'm talking about when
bro.
Jake Paul said what he said a month and a half ago. I'm talking about when the rumors are going around 3 months ago that this was in negotiation. How come these guys ain't never come out from his team and say BS? Shoot that right out the sky. Even with the Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis negotiation, Shakur came out and said, listen, bro, this is what happened. Transparency. I never got an offer. This is what I heard. I got a phone call, blah, 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 blah. Tank Davis's team ain't come out and say, yeah, we sent him an offer and he denied it. Nobody came out. The closest we had to somebody saying that an offer was put out was Steven Espinosa, who a week to 2 weeks later recap pulled that back and said, no, I didn't say we made an offer to him. He literally said that. Did the space acknowledge that? No, they didn't.
Hey, can I cut in real quick, Clay? Just real quick.
Bro.
Let me just cut in just real fast. So Eddie Hearn was just asked the question about the whole Jake Paul thing, and he said, just watch this space. And the reporter kept pushing it, and he said, do you still believe it's a real thing? And he says, I'm still 8 out of 10 that Jake Paul AJ will happen. So, like I said, Clay, this could all
That's what I'm saying.
It could be a negotiation tactic, or this could be Turkey going, I'm gonna you trying to fuck me because I just made an announcement on Canelo Crawford undercard. Now I'm gonna fuck you right back.
Clay,
and offer you so much money that you have to
they
fight.
don't come out and say cap to none of these headlines and shit, bro. You know as well as I do, ain't no bad headlines in boxing, bro. If you're gonna talk about me good or bad, you're still gonna fucking talk. They don't care. Tank and them don't care. Fucking PBC don't care. If you see how quick this caught wildfire, if you've been paying attention to Twitter, YouTube, everybody talked about this within 20 minutes of the fucking tweet dropping.
Facts.
Like they're gonna let you talk, bro. Boxing is dead. Content creators need content, dog. I know we got a Canelo Crawford fight in a couple weeks, but what else we got other than that?
There's some legs to the Trojan. There's a lot, bro. There's a lot of boxing, and again, there's
for guys like me and you, there is, but the casuals, the people.
No, you're talking about the mainstream, right? You're talking about mainstream casuals.
Yeah.
All right. So again, what's happened, and shout out to Shelton Moore, who was with the show with us earlier, explaining the differences, right, from the time he was growing up to the time I was growing up, and how we were being tunneled into only very few channels.
An 80s baby too.
Yeah.
So
okay. Yeah. So you understand what Sheldon was saying about how we were being tunneled because we were watching it on free TV, right? And in this era, there's a space now where even NFL football, which is supposed to be quote unquote free, is actually not free because you have to have so many streaming services and so many packages to buy in order to watch all of NFL football, which is an American sport. So it's the same thing for boxing. There's groups and pockets of different people that's happening. We just watched esports, which is a whole group in themselves, do the Moses Itauma fight, and that boxing card was pretty good. We have the most valuable promotions fight card, 20 fights in 2 days. They're doing 10 fights on Friday, 10 fights this Saturday. That's available for those fan base and casuals that want to watch it, right? There's a ton. Me and Clay covered this last night and yesterday morning. There's a ton of fights on Saturday. It's all over the world. There's Australia fights happening. Every space is available to everyone who wants to watch boxing. It just so happens that in Claymore's show, you got the haters that want to go on the chat and talk about how boxing is not great for some reason.
Yeah, bro. For guys like me and you, like I'm a boxing junkie. I can't speak for you, but for me, I'm watching two fleas fight on a dog's ass if they got on gloves, bro. I don't care who's fighting, the names or none of that. But what they're more worried about is the casual boxing fans spending their money, because guys, whether people are going to like what I got to say right now or not, The fucking hardcore boxing fan has done nothing but driven this sport into the fucking ground. All right? They're not after our dollars. We do nothing but fucking shade, tear down. Fucking guys can't beat another undefeated guy and get credit for it nowadays. We do this sport. They're not after our dollars, man. They're after the fucking casual dollars, the crowd that Jake Paul has. So, like you said earlier in this live stream, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a negotiation tactic. And I just interviewed somebody that's close, very close to this situation. I know who Tank's fighting next. You guys just don't believe it for some reason. I don't get it, but it's all good, man. And I listen, I'm not a regular Tank fan. I'll hold that kid accountable every time he needs to be held accountable, and I will hold him accountable if this in fact is true. But I'm willing to bet diamonds to dog shit this is nothing more than a tweet.
It might be, who knows. So, here's Nikisa.
Thanks for having me, Clay.
No doubt, Angry White Man.
Angry White Man, nice to have you on.
No doubt, family. Nikisa,
oh, yeah, I'm driving. No, I'm gonna stick up. I'm gonna stick up here for a second. I want to hear this.
Yeah, Nikisa Badarian posts about 48 minutes ago, says, amazing how sources, quote unquote, have it confirmed but have it wrong.
See? I told you, man. This is just troll, bro. They're just troll.
We'll see. I'm going to tell you like this. If it is a troll move, Mike Coppinger is going to ruin his credibility in this space.
Mike Coppinger's already, his credibility already got ruined, bro, the minute Shakur started talking bad about him.
Well, I'm gonna say Ring Magazine has their mind on how they're going to. They're gonna have to figure out how much they want to be affiliated with somebody who's getting caught up in the hype.
Well, the thing is, he's part of that team now. He's part of the.
He is Ring Magazine. It's Mike Benson and him. That's who controls the fucking Twitter.
Oh, it's pages. Versace, bro. It's Versace.
Yeah.
And
Ring will take a hit. I'm sorry. Ring Magazine will take a hit for pushing out a story like this and it not being true. I'm telling you.
Yeah, there's a comedian in the State Farm Arena that November 15th date too. FYI.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, man. So, who's the comedian?
Well, I mean,
who's the comedian?
It's some
unless it's Dave Chappelle, any comedian is gonna get bumped off with this.
No, if it's Gary Owens, then that's pretty good.
Praying to God this is true.
But he's right. That's not gonna get in the way of the fight happening.
Listen, bro, Jake Paul, I study fighting, man. This is all I do. Jake Paul is a 230-pound man fighting against a 135-pound man. And Jake Paul takes this sport very fucking serious, has access to the same amount of recovery as any fucking top dog in the game. He's training every single day. I would have to pick Jake Paul to beat Tank Davis just over the fucking size disparity. It's a dangerous fight for Tank to be taken or somebody that's 92 fucking pounds above him. It just don't make no sense, guys. It's a big money fight, but when it comes down to it, the shit don't make no sense. This is all trolling. Thanks for having me, fellas. Be good. Be
safe. Thanks, Angry White Man.
Mayweather did it, man.
Peace out. Yeah, Tank. Bubs, bro. Ain't nobody. What do you mean research? What are you talking about, bro? We're reporting on something as it's happening on the same channel inside of an hour of it coming out. I'm also the one who went and did my research and put out that Nikita. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hey, Clay, don't worry about these guys, man. Don't worry about these guys. And by the way, Albert, I think, was asking what's the streaming service. All right, brother, if you want me to repeat it again, and I've already done it on 2 of Clay's show, but I'm happy to do it for all the boxing fans who actually wants to know what's going on. So earlier today in Australia, you could go watch it on YouTube now. Nikita Tszyu was the main event. After he drank all that breast milk on his training camp, he knocked his opponent out in the first round. Michael Zarafa won. The guy that Keith Thurman just fought, Brock Jarvis just won. So that happened in Australia earlier today. And then this Friday on DAZN, since you're asking about streaming services, we have John Paul Rivera, Daniel Bailey, and a whole bunch of other fighters fighting on that. And then on Saturday on DAZN in the UK, we got Jack Rafferty versus Mark Chamberlain, which is going to be a banger and sleeper of a fight. Then we also have on Saturday on DAZN, Yankiel Rivera versus Angelino Cordova, and a lot of other good fights that you might be interested in. I'm most interested in watching Yoenis Tejas, the current WBA 154-pound champion, defending his belt against the number one mandatory Abbas Baru. That's right. That's a real fight. You heard it. And then also on Saturday,
Abba who?
Abbas Baru. Abbas Baru. Look him up, bro. He's pretty good. And then also on Saturday on the Zone in Australia, you have Jake Wiley fighting Youssef Dib, and Sky Nicholson is doing another 122-pound bout. And then one more in Mexico on the Zone is Abel Gonzalez versus Alfonso Flores. So like I said, brother, pay attention. And if you don't want to pay attention because you're too lazy to look at the internet for the boxing schedule, then tune in to Claymore Reigns' YouTube channel so we could just inform you when to watch boxing. Go ahead, Claymore.
Hold on 1 second. So Lamont Roach, obviously, we know what he put out there, right? He said, I told y'all. Forbes magazine is reporting on this, bro. Listen, bro, I'm telling you, maybe yes, maybe no. I have no idea. But what I'm telling you, some credible journalistic, you know what I'm saying? Integrity, USA Today.
Well, they like to spread out. They don't have to confirm it to spread. You know what I mean? They just do the same thing everybody else does. You know what I mean? Now, let me ask you, who is the most connected media person to Team Tank Davis? Who is the number one guy all up in his ass? His number one media guy. Who is that?
Is it Ellie Setback, HLD?
Ellie Setback. So I'm looking at Ellie Setback, and he's under the comments of Lamont Roach when he said, "Told y'all, LOL, duck, duck, duck." Ellie Setback says, "Tank about to get paid. What are you doing next?"
Boom.
Oh, I just seen it on his.
Did he say, hey, HLD, did he say reporting at the end? Reporting.
No, he did it. The Lamont responds, "Fuck is you talking to me for?" And, and then you go, "What are you doing, Ellie? Zipping up his pants and getting off your knees?"
Well, if it, it said that he's about to vacate the belt.
Well, but then again, how much can we take from Ellie? I mean, he's the number one inside guy, and one guy that I do know on, he also has said, this has happened. He's known it for days,
Bro, I'm telling you, listen, bro, I don't know, man. I'm just saying.
There's a lot of information out there.
Maybe there's a lot of high stakes gambling right now as to the fine details. If you're just are we gonna take it over the, is it gonna cross the line or not? And maybe there's a little bit of posturing to see if we're gonna get it over the finish line. But so
this is beyond. This is Bradley. This is beyond content creators. I'm letting you know right now.
No, that
if I have. Listen, I'm trying my best to be fair, okay? And I'm being honest. If you guys want to play, listen, I'm not very credible sources. A matter of fact, how about this? There's not one source on here outside of that tweet from
media sources, Clay, all over.
Everywhere is talking about this. The most credible sources of information of media. Forbes is probably the number one. I'm telling you, Forbes is not going to mix their name up in no nonsense like this.
And here's the thing, Claymore, though. What if this is a power play, though, for Jake Paul to prove how popular he is? I'm just saying that if Eddie Hearn is right and Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua is real, and Jake Paul, apparently Anthony Joshua has already said yes, so it's all on Jake Paul. Maybe Turkey offered Jake Paul a certain amount of money. Jake Paul's like, "You want me to prove to you how popular I am?" And then Jake Paul leaks whatever. Boom, this comes out. And then Turkey comes back to the table and goes, "All right, fine, I'll give you this." To get knocked the fuck out.
Yeah,
Canelo did the same thing.
You guys have to understand how reporting on stuff as it's developing works. When things are developing and you're reporting on it as it developed, it could be one way or the other. Nobody's confirming here that the fight is happening. You guys got to get with the program and what we're doing right now up here, right? We're giving it to you as it's dropping inside of minutes, seconds. As it's dropping, we're giving it to you. Nobody waits. Bro, news is not covered that way, right? People don't just wait for things to develop for weeks and days. And no, we're giving it to you as we're getting it. You know what I'm saying? Letting things surface and all this nonsense you guys are saying. Yes, things are surfacing and we're giving it to you as it's surfacing, right? To wait on the PBC or to wait on Tank Davis or wait on these people to officially announce this before we speak on it. Y'all know that's nonsense, bro. The reality is this is where it's at. Reporting on it live as it's happening. Watching Lamont Roach speak on it and saying what it is. Watching Ellie Setback react to it. Watching the Forbes magazine. Why is Forbes magazine? And by the way, I seen somebody say I think it was Tank Fan 86 saying that Forbes magazine doesn't really cover boxing as far as the information not being accurate. What I'm saying to is Forbes magazines puts these big magazines and syndications put their journalistic integrity on the line when they're speaking on it. Even if they don't cover the sport or they're not accurate like you might want to think they are on the sport, their journalistic integrity is on the line. These people are not going to just sit here and attach their names to nonsense because all of these platforms are going to have to step up tomorrow if this comes out and report on them like we made a mistake, or they're going to have to put somebody's head is going to roll on the back end of this being fake news.
But Forbes there's an umbrella under them. You think that it's just them? They got connections to everybody underneath them, and they have other publications. It's not only Forbes by itself. So they probably have somebody in the sports industry under their umbrella, and they got the connection to go and ask and do those things. I mean, it's not them by themselves.
We're giving it to you as we're getting it, bro. We're giving it to you as we're getting it in real time. And just like I'm the one who brought up the tweet from nobody was thinking about getting it from Naziski, whatever his name is, Nakisi, whatever his name is. Nakisa. Nobody was bringing that. We're just giving it to y'all, bro. We're just giving it to y'all the way we're getting it, man. And I don't know what's happening. And the idea that we're saying that it's happening, nobody up here is saying it's happening. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to a degree, HL's kind of saying it's happening. but I mean, in real time, we don't know. We don't know.
There's some legs to the negotiation part because Canelo really was playing hardball with Jake Paul to get it done, and he forced the hand on Turkey. He really did, and got what he wanted above and beyond. You see what I mean? So can there be something like that? The network, there's a network issue, and he's like, I'm gonna go and get that fight. And he has the option to get Tank. He probably does have a real option to get Tank, just like Canelo had a real option to get Jake Paul. And then twist the arm of Turkey, who's unlimited with the funds, and just say, man, you know what? Whatever, give it to him, man, because I don't want to.
And I need you to speak that into reality, bro. Keep speaking on it, baby. God willing, inshallah. Know what I'm saying? God willing, bro. Speak that, brother. I'm the guy to do it. I'm the guy who want to do it. Trust me. So listen, I'll receive it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He said, I'll wait to hear from Tank and Paul. No, you won't, Bradley. You're going to hear it from us because you here and we talking about it, and you're going to hear it from us. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to wait on nobody. You're going to come right here every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and come tap into this energy, baby. You know what I'm saying?
The live news update immediately.
Right here on the ATP Combat Media, bro. Giving it to you live and direct.
Bro, it's crazy right now.
No, it's about that time for me anyway. I gotta make moves. I gotta move around. I don't know what I'm gonna do for dinner.
Yo, now we gotta pump Gary Russell Jr. and Lamont Roach next. I want to see that. I'm all in for that fight.
I'm into that, and I wouldn't mind Lamont and Schofield either. I wouldn't mind.
Right, I wouldn't. Especially if they're gonna put the WBA belt on the line, because we gotta get old boy stripped. But yeah, man, hey, that's all I got, guys. I do appreciate Claymore. Everybody's always fun, bro. You get me off my, the mundane things, and now I gotta go do now. You know what I mean? So
tomorrow we'll tap into some real boxing. Today we got distracted. Tank took us into the Tank news took us into another space.
Diabolical. We're gonna talk into real boxing tomorrow.
I will give the fans this of Gervonta Davis. When they said Tank, if something comes on the internet with Tank, it stops the presses. it sure as hell stops the presses because this
is
wildfire right now. I have to give him
everywhere.
credit. He might be bigger than Canelo, man. I'm serious. Yo, he stopped the world from moving right now. Like it really is crazy. Every media outsource, every sport outsource, every freaking
everywhere.
Yeah, every single thing you look at is Jake Paul, Tank Davis. I went to Netflix. I went everywhere, yo. It's crazy.
Netflix?
You gotta be the cameraman. What?
Netflix?
Yeah, sure. Right.
If Netflix is, come on, guys. Netflix?
I'm looking everywhere.
No, I don't believe Netflix. Hold on. Hold on. Not Netflix, bro.
If Netflix does it, it's over.
Yeah, I've been looking everywhere, bro.
No, listen, Ellie Setback is already reported on it. He already got a video on it. Oh, Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul will go down November in Netflix. On that, brother, I'm telling you.
I'm sorry.
This is News, 250, 45 views. Hold on a second, bro. Y'all, bro, listen, man. Y'all gotta, you gotta respect the grind, man. You can't sit out here and just disrespect us like this, bro. Like we out here pushing nonsense. This is not nonsense. This is while it's coming in. Hold on a second, man. Damn you, bro. We gotta stop this nonsense, bro.
Bleacher Report, everything.
Hold on a second here, bro. Oh my goodness. Is this it? Is this it? Is this it? Hold on. No, it's not. Is this it? No, it's not. Is this it? This is it right here. Share. You know what I'm saying?
You'll pay more every month. Wave goodbye to summer and hello to savings up to 30% during Raymore Flanagan's Labor Day sale.
Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul in exhibition. Ring Magazine is reporting. I always say hear from the fighters first. Let the fighters announce their fight, but it's because this is such a big deal. And Gervonta Davis is the pound-for-pound king of boxing. I've never in my life had 300 people text me early in the morning going wild about Tank's fighting Jake Paul, Tank's fighting Jake. Everybody's sending me screenshots and all kinds of, and I'm hearing from everyone and anyone you can imagine. This is a big deal. Gervonta Tank Davis, the biggest draw in boxing, 13 sellouts in a row. He's a 3-division champion. He was champ at 30, 35, and 40, all at the same time while moving up and down in weight. Like Canelo was champ at 60, 68, 75, back to 68 while being champ. Only 3 fighters in boxing history ever done that. Hank Armstrong, Gervonta Davis, and Canelo Alvarez, moving up and down while winning titles. So Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis, they're saying it's going to be at State Farm Arena in Atlanta, November 18. That's according to Ring Magazine. Like I said, I always like to hear it from the fighters first because it's their fight. Give them the shine. Give them their moment. It's their moment. Why are you going to steal their moment? But that's the world we live in, so it's not confirmed. The date could change, the location could change, but I knew Tank was either going to fight Manny Pacquiao or Jake Paul. Those were the 2 fights that had the most buzz, and either fight is a major, major event. But fighting Jake Paul on Netflix, exhibition, no exhibition, Jake's going to try to hurt Tank, and Tank's going to try.
Okay, shut up. Nobody cares about all that. You're doing a whole lot right now. It ain't that serious. At the end of the day, you know what he didn't know, and he's closest to Tank. You know what he didn't know? He ain't hear about no damn Lamont Roach fight happening, bro. He said it was either going to be Manny or Jake. I told you guys. Not Jake. Manny's what I thought it was going to be. It is what it is, man. It is what it is, man. Guys, it is what it is. Salute to everybody who hopped up on the panel. Angelo.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? We got to build. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
No, absolutely. Sorry, man. This I'm trying to see if it's real, if it's not real.
No, you're on the job, bro. You doing what I'm doing. I'm doing the same thing on the screen. Every time you see me staring into space while you guys are talking, what you think I'm doing? I'm on this web surfing, trying to figure this out.
Now, to be fair to the chat, and Bradley, again, I apologize. I promise earlier on the show, sir, you heard Shelton and Claymore talking about the real fights happening, which is on Friday and Saturday. Right. He talked about, can Moses Itauma, is there anyone that can have Moses Itauma take him rounds? You know, he broke down again the undercards that was just announced by Dana White on free on YouTube for all y'all complaining about how shitty the undercards are. You can all shut the hell up because it's free on YouTube. You don't got to turn it on. You know, you don't have to worry about it. It's not for you. Anyways,
the first hour of the video, that's all I did. First hour and 23 minutes was breakdown with
yes.
Shelton.
And just to say,
We talked about Ivan. We even talked about Muhammad Alcatel.
Yes. Yeah, Muhammad Al. Yeah, and also last night we did a whole show on the undercards as it was being announced. Right, so we broke that down. And again,
Kelly versus Murtazaliev for the IBF ordered that fight. Right, for the IBF title.
Josh Kelly versus which makes sense, by the way. It makes the Lubin versus Ortiz a reality. Yesterday morning we talked about, or I think, it was yesterday morning we talked about how awesome October is for 154 pounds because we're gonna have Butsinas versus Lima. We're gonna have Ortiz versus Lubin. We're gonna have Fundura versus Thurman. Now we're hearing about Bacram versus Kelly. So lots of boxing. And I wanted to add this, Claymore, because I didn't get to add it last night. I have been talking about this in some other spaces, and I'm going to be talking about it again tonight. I know, Claymore, you're usually too tired to check out my friend's show that he's just starting. Episode 6 is tonight. We're having a jujitsu, one of the jujitsu black belts as a guest. And I know it's always too late for you because he does it at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I know it's too late. Yeah. No. It's all right. It's called the Knockout Canvas. If any
by that time,
it's called the Knockout Canvas for any of you guys who want to check it out on the West Coast. But he's just starting it out. And anyway, we'll be talking about this too. I've been saying to everyone who keeps complaining about the undercards that were announced that, again, you're not reading the tea leaves. The undercard is not designed for you. You are the hardcore fan. You are the ones that will complain about everything and then Pirates life for you. This card was not built for you. This card was built for the mainstream fan. The mainstream fan to 300 million global subscribers who want to rock for people that are coming from their country. And if you look at the YouTube portion that has 6 fights, Claymore, and I covered this last night, Ray, I'll say it again. It is 6 Americans versus international fighters.
Right.
That's USA versus everybody, y'all. That's what Dana White's doing. Dana White's trying to do what he did with the UFC, right? He's going to introduce you to a 6'9" heavyweight who you've never seen, who's a 2-time bronze medalist, fight an American guy who went to England, gave rounds to Anthony Joshua, and some people say he was robbed of his fight with Dillian White a couple of years back. So that's the type of fight you're going to see. You're also going to see on the there's a reason why you and me, Clay and Ray, we know that the true co-main event for Canelo Crawford is Christian Mbili versus Lester Martinez. That's what we know. That's what we know as hardcore aficionados of boxing. That's what we know. But to the mainstream fans who Dana White is pushing this to, that's not the co-main event. That's not even the co-main event on the poster. The co-main event on the poster is a pretty-looking white kid that's Irish, who's got an Irish population backing him, against Fernando Vargas Jr., the son of the legendary Fernando Vargas, who's a Mexican-American. That's the co-main event. Because, again, I say to y'all, Canelo Crawford was not built for you. It is not to make you, the hardcore fan, happy. It was built for the mainstream casual fans who never even knew that boxing could be free like it used to back in the 80s. That's who it was built for. It was built for them. So stop complaining because all y'all are going to watch it. And the best part is you don't even have to pirate it anymore. It's free. So shut up already about the undercards sucking and go do your research if you're a real hardcore fan and see how good some of these talents are. I'm interested, Ray, in the 6'9" heavyweight. Are you, brother? Are you interested in the 6'9" heavyweight? I'm kind of interested.
Ray, if you are talking, you're muted. You weren't talking. Okay, he's on the phone, right? So no, man. Okay. Look, at the end of the day, like I spoke about it earlier, man. And one thing I give credit to is Turkey Al-Sheikh's matchmaking team. They good at doing that, bro. More than likely, there's going to be some standout fights on these undercards, on the Thursday, on the Friday fights, and of course on the prelims. There's gonna be standout fights as well as the main event. I'm excited, bro. It is what it is. Boxing is in a good space, man. Boxing is in a great space. Whether Tank fights Jake Paul or not, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? That's all fun and games and watching that. And we got a great fight this weekend. Mark Chamberlain and Jack Rafferty is gonna be a great fight. I'm telling y'all, bro. I'm expecting that fight to stand out this weekend and be a well talked about fight. Those two guys are gonna put in the pain. I think this fight's happening at 140 as well. So Mark Chamberlain stepping up out that 135 division to go up to 140. He's up there to make some great fights, a great dance partner at a minimum, if not potentially a champion in the making, bro. He's a good boxer. Mark Chamberlain is a great boxer, and Rafferty's a great puncher. So let's see what happens, man.
Yeah,
Bradley's a hater. He said, I want to see the 4 rounds fights to the main event. Oh, my bad. He wasn't here. I thought he was trying to say that the Terrence Crawford Canelo Alvarez fight was going to be 4 rounds.
No. I think it was there's 4-round fights. I think there's one 4-round fight that's on the YouTube portion.
It's going to be a great fight.
I think. And you're right, Clay. Speaking about that, Mark Chamberlain, Jack Rafferty, and the undercards for that are really good too. And again, even before your show, brother, they were doing a live press conference, Queensberry, about Buatsi's comeback. So right. Boxing's alive and well, everybody. Boxing's alive and well. Continue to follow the space, Claymore Rain on YouTube. Please subscribe if you haven't. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's always entertaining. We will tell you that, right? It's always entertaining, right? But maybe the difference, Claymore, is we're also extremely informative. We're not just giving out troll stuff.
Yeah, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. Now, I would like to think that I've earned some credibility in this space as well, amongst the people who know what go on here, to know that we're not pushing no nonsense. So we talking about it. It's got some legs to it to be talked about. But don't let it go over your head that I'll say this, this is a rumor or this is not being confirmed. Remember all those things too, because tomorrow, if it comes out that Jake Paul was trolling and this fight isn't true, I don't want to see a bunch of people coming to troll me like, hey, I was saying the fight was happening November 15th. You guys are pushing fake narratives. You guys, come on, bro. Don't do that. Be honest and be fair. My guy Rick Tim's trying to step in the building. Rick, what's good, family?
What up, Tim's? What up?
Good, brother?
Rick shaking his head. Rick,
I respect Rick Tim's.
Tell us what you think, Rick. Let it out, brother. Let it out.
Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Hey, man, okay, hey, man.
No, you good. You good.
You good.
All right.
You good.
Yeah, I'm saying, man, it's not good at all, y'all. Listen, man, I can't dictate another man's pocketbook at all. If somebody got a payday, get it. Fine. I understand that. Money will forever be the motivation in this world. I mean, look at all the corruption and the annihilation of whole cultures. I mean, it's all money driven. But at the end of the day, man, if you really about that life in this hurt sport, you won't be fighting no damn Jake Paul November 15th, man. And if this didn't have any credence, Tank just recently reactivated his social media. If it wasn't true, Tank would shoot it down. Hey, man, fake news, y'all. That ain't it, man. I got Roach rematch on my mind. That's what a real one would have did. So by him remaining silent, with all these different news outlets reporting this, it must have some type of truth to it. And it's a slap in the face of his true hardcore fans like me. Bud is my top guy and Tank was my second top guy. But this type of move is just bitch made to me, y'all. You this knockout artist, you this elite pugilist, you this top dog, you draw all the money, celebrities line up to come see you fight, but you haven't unified with anybody. You stay in trouble, out of the ring, domestic issues, car wreck issues, leaving the scene of a hit and run. all this goddamn drama that you got behind you, and it's Jake Paul, exhibition or not, man, you 30 years old, you in your prime. We can't get Devin, we can't get Shakur, Gary Antoine, Gary Jr., Keyshawn Davis, Andy Cruz, Abdullah, hell, Floyd Schofield, any of them. But Jake Paul, dog, boxing is more important to me than boxers. And this right here is extremely disappointing and so unfortunate for real folk who've been following this sport way before Tank bitch ass was born, y'all. And it just saddens me that we got so many people in chat, so many people floating in this YouTube world that's trying to okay this shit. They're trying to water it down. Well, maybe we gonna get the fights we want after Jake Paul. Man, that ship has sailed, man. Enough is enough, Tank. I'm just utterly disappointed. I'm done with Tank. If this shit falls through, I'm just gonna be a regular, hey, yeah, Tank fighting, y'all, cool. I mean, I'm the guy that's been wolfing Tank over everybody.
Yep.
140 and under. I was that guy.
Yep.
I'm not that guy any longer.
Wow.
Y'all have a good day, man.
You lost a
Wow.
You lost a real one right there. Mike Coppinger, by the way, has doubled down. He has doubled down, Mike Coppinger, right here, and said to recap, just in case you think I got it twisted, because he's standing on his word to say, I hear people out here to recap. Gervonta Davis was slated for a title fight rematch with Lamont Roach in August, while Jake Paul was in talks for a major step up against Anthony Joshua. The former heavyweight champion said, former heavyweight champion, and said they will, hold on a second, meet each other in what amounts to be a show, no doubt to be a big deal, but this is less. Hold on a second. What?
All right. So to recap, Gervonta Davis was slated for a title fight rematch with Lamont Roach in August, while Jake Paul was in talks for a major step up against Anthony Joshua, the former heavyweight champion.
Right.
Instead, they will meet each other in what amounts to a show that will no doubt do big business, but is less fighting than it is entertainment, given the weight disparity and exhibition rules. What Mike Coppinger is basically doing is saying, if y'all want to watch a circus, then go support that. But if you want to watch a real fight, then come watch Canelo Crawford September 13th, where real boxing is happening. That's pretty much what he was saying.
Fired. Listen, real quick, Bubs, I don't want to have to keep timing you out, man. Just try to keep it clean. You can have your beefs and things, but just clean up the language, man. I mean, it's just kind of disrespectful to say that to another man, to be honest with you. That's all.
It's getting diabolical in the chat.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
Yeah, man, it is what it is, man. It is what it is, bro. That's what the news is saying.
Oh, great.
We appreciate the real boxing fans like Bradley, who, like you said, man, you will watch it all the way from the beginning, all the way to the main event, and that's also why older people like us are happy that boxing is in this space where you remember, Claymore, when we first started talking, I said, flip your brain, man. It's not about the United States of America boxing. It's been about global boxing forever, right? Now, going into 2026, we can start talking about United States of America boxing again, because now actual news coverage will be covering and showing the 21 world champions that we have currently, the 21 world champions who are fighting. The best are fighting the best. It's been happening. And if you're behind, we say to you, that's okay. Please like and subscribe to the Claymore Rain YouTube channel.
Yeah. We're going to be talking about a lot of good boxing up here, guys. Hey, yo. Salute to everybody who stepped in the building, man. Salute to everybody who showed up in the chat. We appreciate you guys, bro. Until the next one, I'll be on tomorrow, doubling down, talking about boxing. I want to get into this MVP card. He has 2 cards, Friday and Saturday. I think they're going to be some good cards. Rivera, I see some fighters already that caught my eye that I want to see fight. Shout out to the future of boxing. Support the platforms that support world championship boxing. It's your boy Clay. It's your boy Angelo. It's your boy Ray Davis. It's ATP. And at this point, we out.
Just let me relax. Stop assuming.